Want to participate in a Don and Mike Show contest? How about this? You or a member of your household can only win once for 60 days. You must comply with any age limitations for each contest. For complete contest rules, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the mighty WJFK, P.O. Box 3649, Washington, D.C. 20007. Thank you, and God bless.
Everybody loves Don and Mike.
Well, Rob, I need that mic on. Are we on here?
Yeah, we're here. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry, we're dealing with the situation. The mic was a little late getting on here. I'm here, Mike, with Rob and Buzz, and I realize that this news has been released to certain news outlets, but for the vast majority of you, you will not have heard this yet. And if you're a longtime fan of the show, I'd like to prepare you for some pretty devastating news that we offer to you on the Don and Mike Show. Yesterday was a devastating day for everyone associated with the Don and Mike Show. Don's wife, Freda Wright Source, was involved in a tragic automobile accident and passed away late last evening. I and everybody here would ask for all of you to pray for Don, for his son, and for all of their family members during this extremely difficult time. And this is the prepared statement. I have to read it because it's tough to get through. All of us in their radio family ask for your understanding as we grieve for one of our own taken from us much too early. All of us on the show, we are still in shock. We're still experiencing the way I would describe it as waves of emotion. It comes and it goes. And it was a major decision for all of us to come in here and do the show. I'd like to first send out, even though I know he's not listening, he's dealing with his family now, my personal condolences to Don and his son, dealing right now in the very beginning stages of what, as anyone would know, is an unimaginable tragedy. It's a tragedy that has affected all of us here on the show. It's a tragedy that's affected everyone that works here at WJFK, and I know that many of you are hearing this for the very first time, and we felt it necessary to come in here today and do the show for a variety of reasons, not the very least of which was Don wanted us to come in and do a show today. And we honor his wishes to come in and do this show. I also believe that getting everybody in here, as Don and I have worked together for so long, we've worked so long with Buzz and with Rob, that we have dealt with personal and impersonal tragedies on the show. We've dealt with world events. I don't think it's ever hit this close to home and demonstrated the fragility of life. And it is a very shocking, gut-wrenching, sad day for all of us here, for everybody connected with the show. But as tough as this may be for all of us to come in and do a radio broadcast to do today, it is not nearly as difficult as what my radio partner is dealing with right now. And that is why, with his wishes to come in here and do this show, we honor those wishes. And hopefully, at the end of this broadcast, towards the end of this broadcast, we will at least clear our own minds, and this is kind of a therapeutic experience for us. It's something that I have never, in 20-plus years of being on the radio, it's something I've never had to deal with. I've dealt with loved ones dying, and I've dealt with that, but I have never had anything this sudden and this devastating. And I would like to, before we continue with our discussion, I'd like to let everybody know, and for those of you I'm sure that are hearing this news for the very first time, there are lots of questions. Those questions will not be answered on this radio program. We will simply say that we have lost a good friend of ours and a wonderful friend of the show, and someone who was as close to my radio partner as any human being could be, and he is dealing with this tragedy the best way he can, and gathering family around him and being very strong for his family right now. And it was impressive to speak with him last night when he is going through what I don't wish this on anyone. I said to someone that I believe this is the second worst thing that can happen to a human being. The first, of course, being the loss of a child. There's nothing much worse than losing your spouse. And you will not get the details of what happened. I'm sure that there are news outlets where that can be made available, and I'm sure that the curiosity seekers will want questions answered. If they're to be answered, they will not be answered on this particular broadcast. What we choose to do on today's show is to discuss our feelings, because we are less than 24 hours, all of us, dealing with this unspeakable tragedy that happened to the Source family, to Don's family. And we are all still in the throes of it. But the decision was reached that we would have to come in here and do this at some point. And it was agreed upon, all of us, that it was the time to do it was now, to come in here. And what I'm going to try to do today is steer the ship as best I can without our team leader, and hope and pray that he is able to work through this and continue on, as difficult as it may be, and express my love for him and his family. And I hope that every one of you listening now will respect the situation that we are grieving for one of our own. One of the things I wanted to say first was we are a cynical group in this live radio racket. I've said to somebody that when you do this kind of a radio program, which Don and I have been doing for almost 20 years, you're dealing with a situation where this is reality. And reality is any reality television show. We've been doing reality TV on the radio for 20 years. The thing about reality radio is, yes, you may think everything is what you hear, but it isn't always what you hear. And I feel it extremely important to pass along to everyone that these two people were very much in love and played a wonderful role on the show. We have chosen today, throughout the show, when it seems appropriate, to play some selections from our Best Of collection on the Best of Don and Mike, where we're going to let you hear some of the banter that they had between each other. Everybody knows this. It amused everyone in our listening audience, and I think in many cases everybody on the show, we looked forward to some of those interchanges more than anything else on the program. We've with Rob's help and with Beth Ann, our producer's help, we've selected some segments from Freda's participation in the show over the years. She, in very, very many ways, I should say, was the conscience of this show. If we were heading down a particular road, it was always this way, and I'll give you a little behind the scenes as to the way this show works. Buzz, God love him, sits over there and takes everything that's thrown at him, and he deals with everything, and he can't do anything about it, and that's just the way it works. Rob is Don's number one henchman. Let me tell you right now, if it's evil, I'm over here, and I kind of have the sick stomach a lot, okay? So I kind of have to deal with this stuff, and it would always be Freda, who was the great arbiter of what would be done on the show and would not be done. If we had, I couldn't control it. If we were going down a road where we were going to go too far, she would be the one. And I remember some of those phone calls where she would call in and then she would say, "No, I just don't think. What are you doing?" And I'd say, "Oh, thank God for you." Yes. Calling in. She had the power. She did.
Traffic cop.
The bond between both of them, I think I'm in a roundabout way, and if I know I will be tending to ramble today, and I apologize to our listeners for that, but we are dealing with our situation as we speak. The bond between them I think we can all agree, was something that I don't think any of us really saw the real bond.
No,
we got hints of it, we got glimpses of it,
right.
But with all the bickering and with all the back and forth, this was a love affair between these two people, and this is, as I said, it's the hardest, most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my broadcasting career, to come in here and talk about this. But at the same time, I can even feel it now. It is helpful to share this. Yeah. We are certainly not alone in experiencing tragedy. I mean, families deal with this each and every day. And I really do think it's important to share our thoughts and our feelings about Freda and what she meant to this show. She was such an integral part of this program, and she was an integral part of all of our lives. And the closeness that your wife, Rob, had
Carrie,
with her, and Buzz with your wife, Marcia, and, unfortunately I can't stay married, so I don't have the same example, but the fact is that it's just... This was a good person, and this was a person who, from a distance, I can tell you, valued family above all else. And that's, I think, one of the things that Don did love about her. So I would like to tell all of our listeners, and I know that the vast majority of you are hearing this for the very, very first time, and sorry to shock you. This is where we discuss everything. If there's a subject that we are going to address, no matter how difficult, we do it on our own airwaves. And the statement that I read at the front of the show is the only statement that I will offer. If we choose later on in the broadcast to take phone calls, I would ask everyone that the most important thing to me today is no matter what your curiosity factor is, I will answer this simply as the following, and I probably won't mention it again. She was involved in an automobile accident, and she passed away late last evening. That is all I choose to say about this. That is all I'm going to say about this. And if you have questions, as I said, I am sure there would be other news organizations that will satisfy your curiosity. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen here. So, with that said,
well said.
We're all in shock today. You don't realize. This has been said before, but you do not realize. You cannot possibly realize how fragile life is until something like this hits so very close to home,
so quickly,
and
so sudden.
We are, as I said, we're still reeling from this, and we are in a very awkward situation where we want to reach out, but you can only reach out so far. I think the best that we can do for Don today is to come in here and do this show.
Sure.
Don is dealing with his family, and he's being strong for his family right now.
Yes, he is.
And we will try to do the very best we can. As I said, we're going to play some tapes of Freda. If we feel that we can do it, if we feel that we can move forward, we will try to have some things on the show for you today that will be fun, and we'll try to do a show. Mm-hmm. That's the directive, and that's the way we feel. Now, I've obviously monopolized the first part of this, and I think I'll get the ball rolling on this roundtable that we're going to have about this, talking about Freda, by simply saying she scared the hell out of me.
She was a very strong person.
She was.
Yeah. That's one of the things that you were just talking about, what a great match they were, and that, you just couldn't say that any better. They were a great match, and the reason is that they're both really strong people, and their strengths complemented each other as much as there may have been clashes. That strength, the two of them working together like that, they made an incredible team.
Everybody on the show, I think, knew that we could all get each other mad. We could all but if we got her mad, it was not a good spot to be in.
No,
and it was
get it.
But she, and this is what I'm glad you said that, because these memories keep jogging these memories of mine. The thing about Freda that I found so wonderful was the impeccable sense of comedy timing. And if you think that these arguments that they would have, or these discussions, or these trips when they'd go on their cruises, and they'd come back from this, if you think for a second that she didn't know what she was doing, she knew what she was doing.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't mentioned. We made fun of Freda's early career working on the radio, but I will also tell you that she had some radio experience, and she knew this business, and she was extremely smart.
Right.
She did she did everything, and she did everything for our website and got that up and running. That was she was the backbone of that, and I know that in recent years, Rob, your wife Carrie became extremely close to
very
Freda.
much so.
I want to say something about all of us on the show, and I think I alluded to it, that we're a very cynical bunch here, and we are. But what we really are is a family. When you work with people day in, day out, with all of our differences, we come in here, and God, do we throw each other, to the sharks once in a while? Of course we do. We do it every chance we have. But under all of that, and the underlying feeling that we all have, is that we care for one another. We always have. and we watch out for each other. You don't keep relationships of a professional nature in this pressure cooker alive unless you have a true bond and friendship with everybody. So when we're talking about this tragedy that's happened, we talk about it because it does affect all of us very deeply. And, I know, Rob, that you are probably as close to this family as anybody on the show.
Well, Don and Freda, Robert, my sons, they're the godparents.
That's right. That's right.
And we have vacationed together, and we've gotten a hard time because I think it was Big Freda called us the Rickles and the Newharts.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's amazing. I mean, I come from a big family. They come from a big family. And just the way, Don and I have gotten along so well for so long. But when Carrie and Freda started to hang out, that's when we knew that, wow, these two were inseparable. Right. And you think really, you joke about it on the show about American Idol and things, but you think Don and I talk a lot? Yeah. Forget it. Yeah. Good luck getting in between Carrie and Freda when they were on the phone. Yeah. And Freda, it's just, looking back, no one had done more for Carrie emotionally, just to make her feel good. She was... Right. And it's not like Freda needed to go out and find friends. She was perhaps the most magnetic, lovely, classy lady that you could ever find anywhere, and people were drawn to her. But
a lot of people.
And she just, Carrie even felt a little funny at first. Because, years ago, she's the boss's wife. Right, right. But, God, when we got to know them and we realized she is just spectacular, and you cannot overstate it.
Yeah, you mentioned the boss's wife. However, when you've got people like Don and Freda, that is something that rapidly falls away.
Yeah, and when you
get close to them,
you laugh. You laugh at the thought that you even had it, because just such great people, and Freda in particular, and Carrie last night, bless her, just inconsolable, as we all were. And she said, and I told this to Mike, I think it was the one light moment we had last night. She said,
I love this, and this is what Carrie said.
And this is so true. There's all this going on and so much to think about and so many people, feelings to worry about. She said the one person who could take care of this situation was Freda.
Yes, when a tragedy of this magnitude strikes, so much has to be done, and that's part of the pain that goes along with it. And I just want to say that my thoughts are with Don and with his son.
Oh, the whole family.
And because this was this particular group, we come in on the show. I think all of us have good relationships with our family. When Buzz travels on vacation, you go see your dad.
Just got back from camp.
You always do that, Rob. You every spare moment you're heading down to your father's house,
my dad's place,
down on the water. I just got back from spending an enormous amount of time with my family. We joke about it. We talk about how it drives us nuts, but family is everything to this group. And I think really when I'm thinking out loud here, it occurs to me that that's kind of the common thread as we all go in our kind of different ways.
It really is.
We all use that as a source of strength, and I think that I'm confident that all of them will be able to get through this incredibly, as I said before, unimaginably difficult time by that strength of family. And Don has said this on many occasions. This is his family.
That's right.
He married into it, but this is his only family.
More of a family than his own one.
And the radio, and then we here on the radio, we offer our support with that. With that said, I really would like to mention that we care about every member of that family, and we are there for them. Yep. But the prime directive today was to come in here and to break this news to our listeners. And the thing that makes this so tough for me is that many of you are hearing this for the very first time, that are just tuning in, expecting us to be telling you about our wonderful vacations and what crazy things happened on our vacation. That's not going to happen today. We are going to have some best of segments with Freda. We are going to talk about grief because we are grieving right now. This is our therapy session. When I got this news, you go through, I think when you're grieving, you go through stages of grief, and anybody that's been through this would speak to it probably better than I could. But I've had it in my life with my father, but I've never had anything of this, and it does. I think I was talking to Joe outside before the show about this, and a couple of other people, that this comes at you in waves.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And then there's disbelief also.
It's so surreal and has come at me slowly. I feel like I've fielded 100 phone calls today, and each time I've related the story, I found that it got harder than the time before that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the effect of it just soaking in. It's still just soaking in.
When someone is taken at such a young age, it just you don't. The disbelief is followed in my mind from. I go from saying this is impossible, this can't happen, and then suddenly you realize, well, of course it can. It can. Mm-hmm. It happens every day. It happens to people all over the country, all over the world. Sure. It happens every day. When it hits this close to home, you realize. I think this is what gets us all. You realize just how brief a time we all have here, and anyone that's got kids, you look at your kids differently. I know, Rob, you had talked about holding on to your kids last night when we were all dealing with this. The grief that I feel is empathetic grief. I grieve personally for my losing a friend, but I grieve more for my radio partner who is going through this extraordinarily difficult time. And, we all talk about, we have an occasional theological discussion on this show. We occasionally talk about life and religion and things like that. I think that anybody right now, what I would ask all of our listeners to do, because I think it helps, if you're a praying person, offer up a prayer for Don and Freda and their families, and because that's what they all need right now. Everybody needs that. Yeah. And I think that's if anybody doesn't have anything to add, we might just take a drink of water, clear our heads a little bit, and come back and do some more talking about this.
I'm okay with that.
And I do think that at a certain point we would be inclined to take some phone calls today. I will reiterate to you that if you want to talk about this, we're remembering a wonderful life today, a wonderful person who contributed so much to our good friend and our team leader, Don, and also contributed so much to this show and all of our lives. Mm-hmm. And she will be very, very missed. If you call and you want to talk about this, we're going to allow you to do that, but we're also going to please ask for no questions about the details. Please. And if you honor that, I think we can all get through this, and also we'll be playing some segments of Freda.
I look forward to that.
And we've got some other things planned on the show. So this is the Don and Mike Show. We are continuing. The car will continue to run here.
Yes.
And we will also keep the car running until our team leader is ready, whenever he may be ready, whenever that time is, to come back and join us. And we offer our prayers to them, and we will be back after this short break.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
The Don and Mike Show.
I don't reckon it'll happen again for months and months and months. The Don and Mike Show.
Welcome back to the Don and Mike Show. I'm Mike here with Rob and Buzz. Unfortunately, it will be my job throughout the afternoon to be the bearer of some tragic, devastating news for all of us here on the show. If you just tuned in, I feel I have to do this. It is difficult for me to do this, but I have to tell you what we're doing here today, and I will do that by reading the statement that I read at the beginning of the show. Yesterday, Don's wife, Freda Wrightsource, was involved in a tragic automobile accident. She passed away late last evening, and we would ask all of you, if you're just tuning in, you haven't heard this yet, to pray for Don, his son, and all of their family during this extremely difficult time. All of us in their radio family, we ask for your understanding today and your support for us as we grieve for one of our own taken much too early. It's the hardest thing that I've had to do is to realize that as this microphone is turned on after the end of every commercial break, that there will be more and more new ears that are hearing this devastating news, and it's very, very difficult to do this. But that's what our team leader wanted us to do, and that's what we are going to do, because at the end of the day, this is what we do, and it's a part of our life, and it's a part of Don's life, and it It just is the most shocking day in my career, having to deal with this. It's one thing to lose anyone, to lose someone who was that vital and that full of life and that energetic is even more devastating. What we plan to do on the show, as we get through this broadcast today, we plan to do some of the things we do. We're going to read some news stories to you, some comical news stories later in the show. But right now, what we've all agreed is the right thing to do is to get this off of our chests and to talk about all of our feelings. And we will occasionally take your phone calls as well, because we have found that one of the things I didn't mention in the last break when you're talking about radio. One of the things about this medium is the intimacy of this medium. Television has the cameras, but I have not yet found a medium that is as intimate as radio. When you go out and about and you bump into people that listen to the show and have listened for a tremendously long time, they don't react to you like you're a celebrity. They react to you like you're somebody they know well.
Right. Buddy.
And in many cases, they do. I think one of the things when I'm talking about Don and Freda and their participation on the show, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that, they would have their fights and they would bicker, but really, this is a show. And everything that's presented on this show, it may in some small way be based in reality.
There's
but
a seed.
We tweak it up.
Yeah.
Except, of course, Rob's hatred. That's completely legit. 100% he hates everybody.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
But no, it's really tweaked up. They had a wonderful special relationship, a relationship that I'm very envious of for I believe 23 years, and I think, Buzz, you've known Don and Freda longer than any of us. Isn't that right?
About 23 years.
About 23 years.
Right. Yeah. And one thing I remember about them as a couple too, the fact that they always talked about having a united front. If it was dealing with Bart, if it was dealing with an outsider, no matter what, they worked together. And they did a great job of that, and I learned from that. I drew personal knowledge from that.
One of the things that I remember most about Freda, and one of her qualities that I do remember, it wasn't necessarily brutal honesty, but it was honesty. And
it could be.
It could be brutal occasionally, but sure. you knew where you stood with her, and man, she knew how to deal with him too.
And to add to that, because of that, she was so great at putting every one of us in our place, except Buzz.
Except Buzz.
It never seemed to come up, but I know that Mike and I have both been put in our place by her. And because of that, if she ever handed out a compliment, just even something, fleeting, it felt so great because she was so honest.
Yeah,
and you know
something.
that every word had weight to it. She was just incredible.
Do you remember the first time that you? I won't say met Freda, but the first time you had a chance to really socialize with them, was that in Chicago when you were working with them?
As a matter of fact, it was about 23 years ago. And Don was doing mornings at a CBS station in Chicago, where I had also been working with a revolving door of morning show hosts. He was my favorite by far. I instantly fell in love with his style and got to know Freda. Freda came into the studio, and we began to see them socially a little bit. It was great. One of my earliest memories of Freda, I think, is of her sitting on a chair in my living room in Chicago, and she was very, very pregnant with Bart at the time.
Right.
And so we've been a part of that. We sent Bart a birthday card. They moved away. They moved back to Washington from Chicago at that point, and we would send Bart a birthday card every year, and that meant a lot to her. She always showed her appreciation for that.
Our prayers go out to that young man as well, because we know that he's dealing with.
I can't imagine
a devastating time in his life. My early memories were when he was so little, and they were just they were a unique couple, and she really was so important to this show. We continue, we press on. It's going to be extremely difficult to go on without that wonderful presence on this show. She was somebody who when when anything would be discussed of a sensitive nature regarding relationships, even any of our relationships, but if it was involved with Don and Freda, and you saw that hotline bell go off here in the studio,
flashing light, that's a bright light sometimes.
She would, okay, here we go. And, I would almost, not that I don't recline when I'm in the studio anyway, but I would almost recline even more because I know, here we go, ready for some entertainment right here. And they knew it, too. I think they did it. I think in a way that they communicated on the show so effectively because they, got a lot of their business out there, and then they took care of it, and then, it worked for them. I don't know whether he was aware of it. Maybe I'm letting a secret go right now, but after they would have some of their little exchanges in here, I know what he'd do. He'd run into the next room over there and shut the door, and they'd have real communication at that point, and everything would usually be worked out. Yes, and it was just, it was fun to watch and magnificent to be a part of that. And that is, as we reflect on her participation on the show, what makes this so real and horrible for all of us, that we've lost such a good friend of this program. And as I said, and I'll probably say it a million times today, the real grief that I feel today is that my older brother, is dealing with the most unspeakable kind of tragedy that a human being can deal with. And, I want to be here, but yet I want to be there for him. And I know that we'll all have the opportunity to be there for him. And the reason we come in here and we talk about this is because we've dealt with other tragedies, and we always have found that when we come in here and we talk about it, that because of the nature of the kind of radio that we've done for 20 years, it makes us feel better, and we hope that in some small way, by talking about this, if you love the show and you've been with us for a long time, even if you've been with us for a very short time, we hope that in some way hearing us talk about this helps you out. That's another reason we're doing this.
You mentioned the phrase in the last segment, reality radio. And that's sort of tacking onto reality TV, but you have been doing reality radio for 20 years now.
Absolutely.
And to anyone that has hitched up and listened to this show, and that's how I started. I was just a dedicated listener before I got the job.
Right.
You want to be a part of it, and I think you are helping. I think we're all helping, and I think it's going to help when people call in and we can just sort of talk about it, because I had a very one of the first good feelings when we had a meeting this morning, and we had all talked dozens of times yesterday individually. But when Buzz and Mike and myself and Joe and Beth Ann all got in a room today, it was just it was sad and it was tragic, but it was reassuring because we knew we had each other. And I hope that we can communicate some of that to the people that are listening today.
Yeah, a lot of people that hear this program, I will dispel a myth for all of you that we go right to the edge. We always have. We certainly don't go as far as certain radio programs do. We go further than a lot do.
That's true.
But with all the cynicism, I think it's important to mention on a day like this, when you're talking about what we poke fun at and what we make fun of, in many cases, the political incorrectness is the joke itself.
Right.
Sure. The fact that we're on this show and we're talking about things that, oh my God, I can't believe they just said that. That is the joke in itself. Mm-hmm. And Freda understood that more than anybody. And in many cases, even whether it be on the air or off the air, when her sensibilities would be offended, she knew more than probably any of us how this game worked and what we were in here doing and what people get charged up about, what people laugh at, and she had an understanding. The thing that I loved about Freda was that she knew the line better than we knew the line. Yeah, and I mention it again because it's absolutely true. You'd see that hotline go, not necessarily if they were having an argument on the air, but you'd see it go if we were in dangerous territory. Hey, chill out. Yeah. I don't like this. I'm not sure I like this.
Come about, young man. Come about.
Hearing the show sometimes is different than doing the show. In fact, almost always is different than doing. She was able to kind of do both because she had an inside feel for what the show was like, being as close to Dawn as she was and being a part of the show for so many years. But she was also a listener. She had an advantage over us in maintaining that perspective.
The term that comes to mind, because I know that was their number. They enjoyed that kind of vacation, going out on a cruise. Right. But the term that always came to mind with Freda was cruise director. That she would be able to pull things together, whether it would be her own family or something that was going on with Bart's life. But she would always be one of those people that I think everybody needs in a family. Everybody needs the kind of person that's going to pull everybody together. That's going to get everybody together. Your wives. I mean, I know that it's difficult to get them on the show, and we're not going to have them on the show because they're taking this pretty hard today, as we all are. But your wives, Freda would always provide the kind of event, wouldn't they? The girls' night out would be what she'd pull together.
And she was frequently the sulfur that ignited those fireworks.
Nice way of putting it.
As a matter of fact,
the sulfur.
Boy, did she make Carrie more empowered.
And
that's great.
We'll never forget her.
Yeah, that's so true. But
she'll always be with us in that sense, I think.
I mean, that's a light joke, but it's so true. She could make. I mean, Carrie. It's not like she has a low self-esteem, but she just made Carrie feel better about herself. That's how she was with people.
She could do that, and she did that, not necessarily when she would call the show with all of us, but whenever we'd get together, every year for the Christmas get-togethers, for birthday parties, when we would see each other socially. A social event that she tolerated that comes to mind was when Don had us all over for the Star Trek party, which, I think a few of us went kicking and screaming, but, she managed to throw that party together, too.
She did.
And predates me.
It predates you.
It was wonderful.
We were all, at the time, we were all jumping into our Star Trek uniforms to go over for a Star Trek themed party, and she always managed to pull it together,
and without embarrassment.
We're going to take a couple of phone calls right now. I do want to mention that we do ask that you respect the day here and respect the family's wishes and our wishes, of course, on the show. For no questions about the details of this just unimaginable tragedy that has happened today. But we will take some of your phone calls today, and we'll take a few right now. Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Hi, it's Mike, the Hanukkah guy, Michael Hoffman.
Oh, hi, Michael. How are you?
Well, thank God I'm doing okay. Obviously, I haven't known Freda for 23 years, but I've known many of you guys for almost 20 years.
Yeah. And you've been a long-time listener as well.
And a long-time listener. I just wanted to say, when people face grief, one of the things that we as a listening audience can do really is, in memory of Freda, do a good deed in her memory, whether it be giving to charity or helping to tutor a child, or just doing something. I think that can help translate our listeners' grief into something very meaningful.
I should mention, Michael, that this is so new, this tragedy, that we don't at this time have any information that we can pass along of a memorial nature as far as what someone can do in her memory.
Oh, yeah, but I
think it'll be forthcoming, though.
Of course, but even if somebody wants to do something now to give some extra charity to something, I think that's very appropriate. And as far as Freda herself, look, I've been living in Washington for over 30 years. I remember her when she was, I thought, a pretty good DJ on WASA.
That's right, absolutely.
And she was playing the hit. She was wonderful. I also remember, in terms of with Don, she would always be standing by him, especially during the contract disputes and the occasional enforced vacations, as they were.
She was a remarkably strong woman, as we mentioned before, and she was strong not only for Don, but she was strong for me. It's funny that you bring up the issues with our battles, and in 20 years, let me tell you something. We have fought a number of battles on a number of fronts. We've dealt with all sorts of circumstances in our own lives, and she has been a constant thread. But I would tell you that I like that idea, Michael. If somebody wants to do something, they can do that right away. And
I think she would love that. She was just the ultimate do-gooder.
Yeah.
And Don would pretend it would drive him crazy, but I think he dug it too. She would do anything for anybody.
She did stand by him, and that's what Michael was saying there. She was also a great cheerleader for the show, for Don and for the rest of them.
Yeah, I'd like to mention, we will obviously have what information the family wishes to release when we get that opportunity. But right now we will take another phone call. Hold on just a second. Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Hi, guys. I just want to call with a couple of words on this tough day. I've been a listener for 10 years, and let me tell you, when I tuned in here about an hour ago, it sort of felt as if I'd been kicked in the stomach.
Yeah, that's pretty consistent with the way we all feel today, and it's as I said, in 20 years of doing radio, over 20 years, it's without question the gravity of passing this information, being responsible for passing this information on to people, our listeners, was the toughest thing to come in here and do. And I know that when you listen to a radio program, it affects everybody in different ways. And believe me, I understand that feeling.
And just one other thing, it's on an up note, you were mentioning about some of the wonderful qualities about Freda, and those parallels I see with my own wife. I mean, you could tell that, just like with my wife, we argue and we spat, and, I sleep on the sofa for a night or two, but, with Don and Freda, it always came back to love, and how well they stuck together, and her strength and her sense of humor and her devotion to Don. I saw a lot of parallels between that and my wife, and it's very hard. God bless the Source family and you all there. Thank you
very much for the call. This doesn't surprise me, the kind of calls we're getting based on the feedback that we would get. The feedback of controversial nature, the love, the hate, and everything else we get. She aroused a lot of emotions in people. Mm-hmm. But what that caller mentions is a lot of people, the wives out there. This is a locker room. We do a lot of locker room stuff in here. But she was the one that would come into the locker room occasionally and speak mm-hmm. for the great unrepresented. And you know what? It's been a pretty tough room over the years for women on this show. Yep. And she handled that without any problem at all. But that's what the feedback would always would be. And Don would when we'd get a phone call about you guys are pigs, but boy, I love Freda on this show. Mm-hmm. He would say, he pretended he didn't like that, but he loved that. Sure. Because he knew what that was. That was the balance that we offer that you don't get on similar programs of this nature. You really don't get a lot of that balance, and I think that made the show very, very unique.
So you're saying that she balanced all of us.
She did. Anybody could do
powerful.
It. She was that heavy. She could do it. They represented a lot of couples, I think, and a lot of people related to them as couples and knew what that was like. And Don was aware of that all along.
Sure.
I think I've heard in other markets, I've heard what Don would refer to as the he said, she said shows, mm-hmm. where they are just so completely contrived. There was nothing contrived about Freda when she would be on this program.
No. Genuine. Genuine.
Let's take another phone call right now. Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Hey there.
Hi.
I'm very, very sorry for all of our losses. Yes. She was wonderful. Not to be rude, but Mike or Don, I like their bantering. That was the mm-hmm. best part of the show.
Yeah, I think we all got a kick out of that, sure. And she told it like it is now. Like Don and like me and like Buzz and like everybody else on this show, she would occasionally tweak it up, but there was an honesty in there and a reality that was in that, and I'll always be jealous of you, Mr. Burbank, though, because Rob, you will testify to this.
Oh yeah,
there was something you got the free pass of free passes.
I was the sensitive one. She thought of me as the nice one,
the nice guy.
Oh, I dug that.
I'm nice.
Right.
She didn't get that somehow.
Let's take another phone call. Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Hi. I'm the one who made her laugh for a contest. It was Make Freda Laugh.
Oh, it's funny. I don't want to give that away because that actually is one of the segments that we have selected today. So I would hold on the line and not hold on the line, but stay listening for that because you're actually stay listening, guys. I would stick around because we're going to have that a little bit later on. That's one of the tribute. As a matter of fact, I think the way it's shaping up on the show, that's probably going to be the last segment the best of segment from Freda. We're going to be doing that a little bit later on in the broadcast.
But a lot of great moments coming up. And Beth Ann said something that I found really cool is that she said when she was picking out these segments, to hear Freda's voice again, it's reassuring. Yeah. And you said earlier, we're going to miss her presence. Yeah. Yeah, but the presence is going to be here for a long time too.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be good to hear her.
And you're going to hear that chemistry today too that we talked about.
We're talking about what a presence she was on the show, but we're also talking about our own grief and how you deal with grief. And I think that so many subjects are brought up when something like this, when a tragedy of this magnitude happens to our radio family. And the fact is, when you're dealing when you're dealing with grief, you have to figure out a way of handling it and a way of negotiating through this. And the best way that we've always seemed to find to do that is to continue the dialogue and to keep talking. Michael Hoffman, I really appreciate his call as far as dealing with the grief in your own way.
What a good friend.
And because when someone goes through this, inevitably, what is the question that's asked? What can I do? Everybody asks it. I think it's an extremely difficult question for the person that is dealing with the tragedy to get. I try not to say it if I can. One of the things that I will say, and I said this to Don last night, and this applies to anybody that's gone through a tragedy like this, and it was said to me during a difficult time that things will never be the same, and I think we all know that.
Yeah.
We all know.
That's hard to believe.
We all know that things will never be the same, but as difficult as it is to realize right now, they will get better with time. I think that,
the universal reaction with all the people I've talked to is, I don't know what to say. Right. None of us does.
Let's take another phone call. We're going to go to Frank. Frank is calling. Hello, Frank.
Hey, Mike, Robbie, Buzz, all the JFK family. I've listened to the show for over 10 years. I've chased you over some crappy radio stations through static.
That was us.
And some of the best segments were Freda and Don arguing because Don would get so upset with something she had done, and I'm going, my wife does that. You could just relate to them because they were honest. I know you guys are saying they're tweaking it up, but the honesty came through. The honesty of the relationship came through.
Thank you, Frank.
And she's going to be missed.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. The honesty did come through, and it was based on everything we do.
Sure.
We based it on. Sometimes we'll tweak it up, but not all that much.
That's true.
Not all the time. And she. Boy, I tell you, she definitely gave it to him when he needed it. Yeah. He might not like me saying that,
and to all of
us. So she gave it to me on more and more occasions, and I'd see it coming too.
But giving it to Don was the thing that we'll remember most. And I know we all remember and love the story that Don told about the time that he went out and bought the expensive sports car because he was jealous of the other DJs in Los Angeles,
and he had to take it back,
and how he had to hide it from his wife, and how when she eventually found out about it, he had to take it back, and it was the most embarrassing thing in the world. And ever since that day, Freda has managed their finances. And as you know, in a time of grief like this, one of the things you do if you're the person most affected by it is you try to busy yourself in some way. You try to take care of business and think, gee, what do I have to do? Speaking to Don this morning, he said to me he had $200 in his pocket, and he doesn't know any of the passwords to the ATMs.
We chuckled at that and realized, how what he's dealing with right now. The thing about Don, and we're all sitting here, all of us today, we've had the discussions about it, and the truth be known, none of us are really enjoying this experience of having to come in and do a show. We are doing this show because we know it will help us to get through this, and we're also doing this show, I want to mention once again, to honor Don's wishes.
Oh, absolutely.
Don wanted us to come in here today and do a funny show. He said, go in and do it. I think the words that were used to Beth Ann were, you guys suck it up. Get in there. That's the kind of guy he is. He gets that strength, and I think even though she's not around and she's not here with him now, he's getting that strength, and that might even be coming from her. She's that kind of presence, and as I said, things will never be the same, but they will get better with time. I don't know if I finished that thought.
You didn't, and that's important. We will get.
I didn't finish that yet. You will, and it was said to me, it will not be the same, but it will get better with time, and her presence, and this was said to me also today, her presence will be around him in his life for forever. He will live, her spirit will be there. It might sound like some of the things we say today are cliche-ridden, but something, when you deal with a tragedy like this, you have to find words that can comfort you and that can comfort our listeners. And when I say things like, it will never be the same, but we'll get better with time, I want all of our listeners to know, I say that because I believe it in my heart, and I know it to be true. And, that's very important. And the fact also that the person's spirit will be with you forever. I say that because I believe it's true, and I also know it's true.
And Freda believed it.
And she believed it also. Very, very, very much so. We're going to take some more phone calls. I really want to say at this stage of the game, too, I appreciate the nature of the calls today. I appreciate what people are doing. If people want to do that, if they want to communicate their feelings the way it's been done. We were a little nervous about, people asking, what happened, when it happened, where. That doesn't seem to be happening, and I want to thank our listeners for being respectful. Let's go to Craig. Hi, Craig. You're on the air.
Hey, Mike and everybody there. I just wanted to say my heart goes out to you guys. I've been listening to the show for over 15 years. I lost my mother last year, and I think you're doing this the right way. And the thing I was telling the screener there was one thing about the love of Don and Freda, or Mike and Freda, whatever you want to call it, is...
I've called him Don for 20 years, so you can go ahead and say that.
Yeah. I mean, you always knew where those two stood. They had their good days, they had their bad, just like we do in normal life, because I consider the guy a normal guy. But at the end of the day, when they hung up, it was always, I love you, Freda, I love you, boo-boo, and you knew. And it's sad as hell, and I really feel for you guys. And we've really lost... I don't want to sound cliche-like, but she was really special.
Thank you very much, Craig.
It's true, though.
Nice.
It's not a cliche when it's true.
We appreciate the call. One of the things that that people have told me on this show that with Don and Freda's segments on this program is just what that caller said, and I think that the ability to relate to a couple that are living their life on the radio and putting some of this stuff out there for everybody's scrutiny, that helps people out, and that it not only entertains, but I think in many cases it made people feel, hey, if people were feeling isolated, and if people thought, oh my God, I'm the only one that deals with this, I wonder what... They offered some of these scenarios and these situations, positive and negative, to everybody to scrutinize, and that takes. I don't do it. I haven't done it. I mean, I basically put myself out there. They drag me kicking and screaming to do it, and it's not many people that are able to do that. And I'll tell you what I think, and I'm thinking out loud right now about Don and about Freda. To a certain extent, that was a sacrifice for them to do. Now, granted, we do a wonderful job here. We've got the greatest jobs in the world. Mm-hmm. We are well compensated for it. But I look back on her participation in the show, and in many ways, all of us have to make sacrifices for our work, for our jobs. But she made that sacrifice. I think there were many times where she probably didn't want to have that participation in the show. But she knew that she was not only helping us to provide a good show, but she was also doing what she did more than anybody ever saw behind the scenes, and that was helping out the guy she loved. And it's just that's the memory of her. Her toughness, but yet her absolute total support that we all watched of, man, is this, I mean, you talk about, it's I mentioned cliches again, the woman behind the man, the woman that, support, the anchor, and we all, I just want to say again that I want to send my prayers out to Don right now and tell you that we're all going to be there for you through this, and we know what a loss this is. I can't begin to even fathom what he is going through right now. I won't pretend to do so. But I will tell him, that I love him. Mm-hmm. He's my brother. And I didn't want to lose it, and I'm not going to lose it today because, this is the worst thing. He would hate that more than anything else.
We got you.
He'd smack me. He'd reach across the console and smack me.
Throw a pencil at you.
I do want to say I love him. He's my brother. Yes. I know we all feel the same way. And I know we're all gonna get through this, but we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it together. And we're gonna take a few more calls before the break. Hello, this is Patrick. Patrick, you're on the air.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I just wanted to say my whole family, the whole Nagel family, our support really goes out to you, and especially Dawn. And I just really wanted to say I hope my soon-to-be newborn daughter Isabella is as good and as honest a woman as Freda was.
She would consider that a tribute.
Thanks a lot.
Know better.
Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. And it's funny when we've done shows for I call them impersonal tragedies, because when you look at the space shuttle disaster, or you look at something like 9/11, and we were on the air for so many hours on that day, it was very, very it was very therapeutic and very helpful for all of us to get on and talk. And when I came in to do the show, when I was thinking about what we were going to do today, I was very hesitant to say, are we going to take phone calls? And I suddenly realized as we're sitting here, as we're going through this process, that's what we're all about here. We're about the interaction between
part of the family,
the audience, and this is talking to you guys is helping, but talking to our listeners is helping all of us too. Let's take a couple more before we have to break.
Go ahead. They can make us smile with a memory, something they remember that we haven't thought of yet. We'd certainly love to hear that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get everybody here. We're going to go to Rob. Hi, Rob. You're on the air. Rob, are you there? I think Rob was waiting a little too long. Let's go to Sean. Hi, Sean.
Hey, gentlemen. How are you?
How you doing?
Hey, a lot of times, and you've said it in other shows, too, where you use the show as therapy, I don't know that you all realize how therapeutic it is when you all discuss, whether it's a national tragedy, as you all were just talking about, to even this. I've said many times before, you guys are like friends in the afternoon because it is like hanging around with the guys. And something that I always enjoyed was when Freda called, because as we all have had marital issues, and big or small, it was always it was like hanging out with the guys talking about wives.
Right.
And realizing how, at the end of the day, as the caller said earlier, those two loved each other. And as much as they may argue, I knew every day that Don went home to a very happy household, and it was just awesome. And it's going to be a shame to not have her anymore.
Thanks very much for the call. It's amazing when you have this vehicle to communicate with people and to share the grief when callers like that bring up something that is so true. When we were in here, and we do it on the air and we do it off the air. Anybody that's been married knows this. You're around the guys, you sit there and go, hey, you're throwing your weight around, you're saying, hey, I'm the big tough guy. But we all know. Any guy that's married, anybody that's had any long-term relationship knows it's not the way it is when you go home and behind closed doors. And the one thing I should share, I hope I'm not embarrassing the Don or anybody in his family, but the fact, the affection that those two showed for each other when they were together, and it was from the very beginning, from the entire time that I've known them, it was when we would be out in public, they would be they would always be holding hands, hugging. That they did that.
They couldn't get away without a kiss.
No, and that's I pass along to everybody that listens to the end of this show. Every single day, love you, Freda, love you, Bart. I think that's not an accident.
Has a couple ever spent more time on the phone than those two? Cell phone,
people should realize, Rob. It's funny because you mentioned that they would get done with a 45-minute segment. On the show, and covering a variety of emotions, and then as soon as they would be completing that, he would hang up, and we'd chat for a little bit, and he'd walk in, and then a lot of times he'd come back, and he'd log another 9 minutes in there, and come back, and maybe call her back.
There were times he'd call her 8 times a day, more maybe.
Absolutely.
And here I sit, and I sit on the sidelines, and I go, what is the key to a successful marriage? I kind of wish I knew the answer to that. Some of us succeed, some of us don't succeed. But I did look at them, and I don't think I've ever said this to anybody. This is the truth. I looked at Don and Freda with the level of honesty that they had, the amazing level of honesty that they had in their relationship, and I always said to myself, maybe I should try to be a little bit more like that. Maybe I should try to be a little, lay it all out on the table, and because really, at the end of the day, I think that's probably the most important thing in a relationship is open lines of communication. And I know that you and Carrie kind of follow that example a little bit because you watch them a lot. You watch them as a couple together.
Yeah, but you know what? And people don't realize. I mean, that seems like so easy to say. Be open, be honest. Is there anything harder? I don't think so, because there are times if something is awkward, something you want to bring up, and you have to talk about it. It's tough, and they were the best at it. They could be used as a template for a successful marriage.
Let's take a couple more calls. I'd like to let everybody know that we are going to be playing some best of segments that featured Freda.
That's for free.
That is going to be coming up a little bit later on. Let's go to Frank. Hi, Frank. You're on the air.
Hey, I don't want to ask how you guys are doing. Just want to let you know that we're all thinking about you, and that I guess the best I can say at this point is for 15 years I have never called in, and you folks have offered so much to us. Now it's time that we just offer something to you. It's been an anonymous relationship, but now just to let you folks know that, if we could put it out there the way you guys put it out there and keep the chin up, that's what we're doing, and you don't need to see it or hear it. Just know that we're doing it for you.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's call today on the show. I think that, it's become evident to me why we're all in here and why we do this. I will tell you that as I talk to all these people and people are doing, sharing these feelings about Freda on the show and giving their condolences and also sharing their support of Don in this terrible time for him, I find myself feeling better than I felt all day.
It's hard to use that word, but yes, I agree. Yes,
I wish there was a way that I could kind of bottle this, and I hope maybe at some point that Don can listen to this and listen to what people are sharing. I don't know what he's doing right now. I know that he's being strong for his family. I know
for his son
and for his son, and that he is dealing with this right now. Anybody that has gone through a tragedy like this of losing a spouse. You need family and you need friends and you need the support. I really feel at this time that we're getting a little extra based on what we do, and it's just another example of why I think we've got pretty great jobs
it's
here.
Amazing calls, and it's almost when we came in here, I had just a tinge of selfishness because I knew that just by us talking, it would make us feel better. And when I hear that us talking makes listeners feel better,
so it's good, and that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah.
And really, and really, as far as the entertainment value of a program like this, I am telling you, our listeners that, as I said in the opening statement, indulge us. Bear with us and let us get through. And it's not a day, guys. It's going to be, we're going to try to roll into, getting stuff done and doing it. But we're going to do that when we feel it's right and when we feel it's ready. And we'll have some stories and we'll have some news today, hopefully on the show. If we feel we can, we might have phone calls all day. It doesn't matter. Let's take a couple more calls. Kaya Kaya, you're calling. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry to hear about the news. I just wanted to call and let you know that I admired their marriage as much as any two people I've ever heard in my life. And, I walked around my office and told some people here, and I've never seen so many heads pipe up out of a cube with concern than I did today when I told the people that I work with what had happened. And it was kind of a testament to, her online personality and, how she portrayed herself.
People felt they knew her.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's just devastating. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to hug my wife tonight and realize the things that I have. So
thank you very much.
Hug her tight.
A lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said that. That you had mentioned it with your children, and I got to see my children today, and I won't talk about that. that'll do it. That'll push me over the edge. But we'll take a couple more phone calls. Matthew, you're on the air.
Hi, guys. Just real quick. Everybody on that show has been a part of my life for over 75% of the time I've been alive. And I look forward to hearing the parts of the show that you're going to be playing today because I really need to remember how good it was. And just thanks, guys. This show is what I need today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling in. We do appreciate that. We are, as I mentioned before, we are going to be playing some best of segments also, and some of the highlights that we've had with Freda on the show over the years.
I need that.
It's going to be really good to listen to, and I think it's going to be very, very helpful. And that's what she did. I mean, when you have somebody that's got that kind of strong personality, that's really what she was. And I know I've said it before, but she was a unique personality. It was not your run-of-the-mill thing that we get on the radio.
No,
Thank God for that.
Carrie and her, I mean, she was probably Carrie's best friend, my wife. And when Carrie told a few people in our family, people that had not met her, but really don't listen to the show regularly, they screamed and they yelled and they cried because she's so real and so many people related to her.
She did she was very involved in a lot of good stuff too, and I think that as the days progress here, we are probably going to get some of her wishes, and because I know that. As I said before, the one thing people say all the time in a circumstance like this is, what can I do to help? And, with this situation, I think we will be hopefully able to pass on some information where you can do things in her memory. I think right now it is too soon for that.
It's hard. It's such an obvious thing to say, and it's never a shallow offer, because I know everyone that has said it, even to me, I mean, twice removed from it, is genuine. And I know that when it becomes available, people should follow through on that and just know that, do the family wants.
A lot of people have said, "What can I do?" We'll tell you soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Jennifer. You're on the air.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm just, I'm shocked. I'm sad. As a woman, she was truly remarkable. And just listening to her on the radio and reading her stuff on the internet, I mean, I don't even know her, and I feel kind of silly that I felt so close to her, and to hear everything, I just stopped dead, in the car and just, had to take a moment to think about, what kind of a loss this is for, you guys and for Don and Bart and Big Freda. It's,
we understand. We understand, Jennifer. Thank you for your call. I want to mention one other thing that I don't think we covered here is I briefly mentioned the fact that she was in charge of the website, but one of the things, she was an absolute technical genius. You mentioned Don, being lost with passcodes and whatever.
Yeah, got us all through computers.
She completely took that situation and very rapidly, when it was time, and of course we were like 1 million years behind the curve, like we always are. Later in the week, I'll mention how behind the times I am, because I think I'm the least technically savvy person around here. But she took charge of that and did such a wonderful job with all of our computer needs that we had on this show.
She could do anything. What she couldn't do, she'd figure out. What she couldn't figure out, she'd find someone to tell her how to do it. She was personally responsible for getting a computer in my house. She would not let me alone until I got one.
Because you were the last one on board.
It was about 8 months ago.
I will tell everyone that we do appreciate the phone calls. I do hope that, although they're not listening today, the family, that this somehow helps. I know it's helping all of us here, and we can pass that love that you're showing the Source family by these phone calls. And we have time for one more before the break. We will continue to take your calls after the break, but let's take one more before we do. Tim, you're on the air.
Guys, let me start by saying that you three, I admire your courage and your honesty, and I thank you for what you're doing today. Freda is an angel among mortals, and I would like to speak directly to Don and Bart and say that you are men of great fortune to have been able to share in such a beautiful existence, and it's never lost. And she will be with you forever, and all of us. And thank you to Freda for everything you gave us.
That was great.
Thank you, Tim. We cruise along and we give you guys a lot of hard times on this show. We give you guys a real hard time, our listeners, and you're stepping up for all of us today. When we come back from the break, we are going to play a best of segment. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I know Beth Ann went through these. We'll get her to maybe come in after the commercial break and discuss what we're going to play. But I think this is one time where Don was relaying a story to me, and I think sometimes I overlook the fact that there is honesty in that relationship, and he does tend to sometimes spice things up, and I don't think I was necessarily buying it.
Was the story outlandish?
The story may have appeared to be a little outlandish to me, and I think that what I did was press Don on it to such an extent where he brought in Super Freda for the backup. We're gonna play a little of that for you when we come back, and this is the Don and Mike show, and we'll be back after this commercial break.
This is the Don and Mike show.
The Don and Mike show.
Even tastier than Chef Boyardee. The Don and Mike show.
Welcome back to the Don and Mike show. I'm Mike, along with Rob and Buzz here in the studio. I don't like to read this every time we come back from a break, but I feel that's what I'm here to do, and I have to share with you and all the listeners, if you just tuned in, that yesterday was a devastating day for everyone associated with the Don and Mike show. We have mentioned this before, that Don's wife, Freda Wright Source, was involved in a tragic automobile accident. She passed away late last evening. And we'd ask for all of you to pray for Don and his son and all of their family during this extremely difficult time. All of us in their radio family here at the radio station ask for your understanding. We are grieving as well for one of our own who has been taken from us much, much too early. We've been reflecting on the life of Freda, of her her wonderful personality, her contributions to our show, and our the contribution she's made to all of our lives as a friend. And I once again want to just send out my personal condolences to Don and to his son and to their entire family as they try to put it back together after this truly unimaginable tragedy, a tragedy that I don't wish on anyone, and I certainly wouldn't want it to happen to my big brother in radio and also my best friend. This is a very, very difficult day. I want to thank everybody on the staff here for coming in and doing what they can as we all try to get through this. It's not going to be just one day. It's not going to be just 1 week. It's going to be a long time. And I really want to thank the callers for their respect today and for their help. I was discussing with Buzz during the break that these calls are helping me. I hope they're helping all the other listeners, and I know they're helping all of us here in the studio. Let's get B.A. in here, because B.A., along with Rob, you guys were kind of instrumental in picking out some of these best-of segments. There were many of them to choose from, and the one that I'm looking at that you have here is labeled Don Calls Freda for Backup, and I know you had a chance to... you had mentioned that you listened to these, and they actually helped you. When
it was like comforting to hear her voice. Now, when you hear her voice, you'll listen differently. Yeah. I mean, and you'll listen to more how they speak to each other, and that like you said, he always said, "Love you, baby." Always said he loved her before when he hung up, and always said that. Mm-hmm. But it was just, it was comforting, and which I thought it would not be.
I didn't know whether it would be. I'm going with what you're saying. I hope it will be. Your first impressions of Freda when you met her. You are the youngest member of our little family. I'm not sure. I haven't checked your age or your driver's license, but I mean, as far as joining our merry band of revelers, you're the baby. You're the baby of the group.
My dealing with Freda for a long time was via telephone. Mm-hmm. And, I would call Don. I was really, talking to Don, and I would, "Hey, Freda, is your husband there?" and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, with the website, there was more interaction. And I remember, so everything I knew about her, I knew from over the air. As many of the listeners, that's the only way they knew Freda. Mm-hmm. And when I first met her, I thought, she's exactly who she is. She's genuine. She's smart. She's a force to be reckoned with. Mm-hmm. She knows what she wants. Yet there's the side of her that, is compassionate and loves animals and don't eat the chickens. And how about the chickens being tortured? And she really...
I forgot about the chickens.
No, me too. But she didn't. I mean, Freda didn't forget about the chickens. Right, exactly. And Freda...
Thank you, Beth.
Who could have anything she wanted, was always the same Freda Wright when she was... however big Freda brought her up, she was always in the essence of what she was. She bought a tanning bed on eBay. That's Freda.
That's great.
And she wore a wig, and she didn't care what anybody thought about it because she liked it.
Right.
And I liked that Freda kept Don honest.
Right.
Most of us knew we could just go to a certain line with him, and we were not to cross it. She was the only one that could not only cross that line,
dance on it a little bit,
right, and then tell him where the line was, and so
stomp on that
that's what I loved about Freda.
And that really, I think when you mentioned that, we all knew that too. Everybody knew that on the show, and it was, and that's why when she would call us on the carpet for something we might have done, we took it.
I know.
We stood in like, "Yes, ma'am. That's the way it's going to go."
She had the funniest, most lilting laugh, and I hope we hear that in one of the segments that we hear today. Good.
Okay, this is Don Calls Freda for Backup. This was when he was talking about like a romantic dinner that they had.
They had been having dinner together in New York.
And I didn't believe the size of the place or something like that.
Size of the place, that there was somebody that was going around the tables with entertainment. It was an Italian restaurant, but he claimed it was a Russian that was actually doing the entertaining. And he tried to convince all of you for about 10 minutes. And he said finally he had to call in backup. And the only person you guys would believe would be Freda. I really hope that when we play these tapes today, that this offers all of our listeners who are grieving with us today some comfort, and also serves as an example of what she was to this show. And it is a tribute to her. And we'll play that segment for you right now.
You're making me do this. What? You're going to make me call her to back me up.
What, that there was a lot of space between the tables?
Yes.
Call a witness. Yeah.
There you go. Have some fun.
It started out when you said 50 yards, that's half a football field.
Hello?
Baby.
Yes, my sweet tea.
The other people in the restaurant,
Yes.
they were seated, especially the first couple. How far away from us were they?
The first couple? I don't know which one you're talking about.
The first couple that the guy sang to.
Oh, one was sitting on a bench. Is that over?
I don't remember.
By the wall?
Yes, all the way against the wall.
All the way to the wall. They were probably, I don't know, 10 feet or no, it had to be more than that because you get more than 5. So 15 feet, not that terribly far.
Was your view ever obstructed by the rigid airship they store in the restaurant?
Would you say in that restaurant that we were at that had the singing waiter that the couples were spread far apart in a large room?
No, we were all clumped together by the fireplace.
Was the Jumbotron in the center of the restaurant dining room?
There was no Jumbotron unless there was a picture of fire on it.
The restaurant certainly was not crowded.
Oh, no, it wasn't. There were only about 5 couples. Weren't there?
It's a big place? Rob, can I have a pen?
You've been there before.
Okay.
Yes, it is a very big place.
All right.
You all have been there.
Well, I don't remember, and we can't say. Could you just say it's a big place if it was?
It's the place we had the Christmas party at 2 years ago.
All right.
Does everybody remember the place we had the Christmas party at 2 years ago?
Wasn't that one?
No.
It's in a different room.
Mike, I just told you. It's the place we had the Christmas party.
That's an Italian place. What the hell are they doing with a Russian there?
What didn't I say?
What the hell kind of trick is that?
I said at the beginning of this diatribe that it was an Italian place.
Well, you know what? The thing is, they must have brought the Russian in when they expanded.
Well,
and they made it bigger.
The man was a musician. It didn't matter.
He was
where
Russian.
He was from.
He was Russian, though.
But I asked him to play Spanish guitar, and he did.
Well, was he Russian?
Yes.
Freda?
What? My word is no longer good enough.
You called her.
I only called her to get some verification that the people. It wasn't like Mike eating at the what's that? Oh man, what's that truck stop place you love?
Old Country Buffet.
It wasn't seating like at the Old Country Buffet.
It's a nice, quiet restaurant with a.
Well, if it's the place where we had, I know the place.
God, I can't even. I'm terribly defeated in this entire argument. I can't even come up with a proper retort. How can I not have Family Country Buffet right here?
Old Country Buffet.
At my head right there. It is the perfect comeback for Mike and restaurants.
Old Country Buffet.
Old Country Buffet. I'm sure the seating was not as luxurious and not as spread out as Old Country Buffet.
Well, see, I bet you. I would say if we were wagering, the Old Country Buffet on sheer floor space would blow that restaurant you were in out of the water. They should get a singer.
It probably would, but there were only about 5 couples, and they were around the fireplace, so we were all in one part of the dining room. It was a bigger dining room.
That's a nice restaurant.
Utilizing the whole dining room.
And didn't that singing suck? Wasn't that the worst, honey? I told you.
No, it was pleasant, but I mean, we didn't request it. And then you get interrupted.
As long as you're here, just one thing. Why exactly were you so opposed to me just saying to the guy when he came over, no thanks?
Because that's rude. Because it's rude. I mean, I object to anything you do that's rude. I'm going to object.
So a guy comes over while we're having dinner, pulls out his pants. That's okay?
That would be rude, and I would say to you, honey, that's rude.
That would be a gimmick.
No, but he wasn't doing anything. You were going to be the one to be rude, not him.
All right, darling.
Whatever. Love you.
Whatever.
I'm getting killed here by my pals on this for my description of this. So I'm gonna have to let it go.
Why?
They don't believe me that the restaurant was big.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they believe you?
What?
Why wouldn't they believe you? You never.
I believe you the restaurant was big. I don't believe you that the guy was a Russian now.
Yeah, he was.
Mike said, "Busted my fault." All right, darling. And incidentally, I said that the Viagra was not a success.
No, it was. There was no difference.
Sorry to hear that.
No difference.
I was very disappointed.
Still have the Cialis, the other brand?
No, I don't. I don't know where that one is.
The hell is that?
That's a competing brand now.
Oh, okay.
I give her one
darling.
of each.
I got to fly. I'll see you later.
I don't think they work on me. I think I'm immune.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I would second that testimony.
Hey, goodbye, Boo.
All right, goodbye.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow, there it is.
You know, it's funny because I always, whenever I'll tune in a best of segment and I'm listening and I start laughing at it, I always feel guilty. I always feel complete. You know, hey, what are you doing? Laughing at your own show? It's silly. That is such a wonderful example of what. And it wasn't at Beth Ann. The restaurant was not in New York. The restaurant was right down. Whatever. There you go. Whatever.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. We've got more that we're going to play from these, and you know what? It just you don't know until you play them that they're going to be. I didn't know how I would react to hearing those. I hope that everybody listening feels the same way we do about these tapes today.
I've not smiled in quite a few hours, and it made me laugh.
Let's take some more phone calls. And we do appreciate everybody that's calling. I'd like to mention special thanks to Tommy Giacomo down at the Palm, who is an old friend of ours for a very, very long time, and Freda's and Don's, and also Mark Rippon, former Redskin Mark Rippon, who called. They both called with their condolences, and we are going to pass those along to Don and all the others and his family.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's take a phone call. This is Nancy. Nancy, you're on the air.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Nancy. I live in Tracy, California, and I'm going to be a bit of a different caller. I have no idea who you people are. I stumbled across your radio station at noontime today.
That's usually a setup for something bad, Nancy, when somebody says that.
No, it's good. Let me tell you. Ever listen to AM radio? My daughter, Haley, died 11 weeks ago this Friday. She was 3.5 months old, and I'm having a particularly rough day. And for some reason, I was led to go out car, and boom, here was your message. And I just wanted to tell you I'm so sorry for the loss of Freda, that I think I was sent to hear your station to help me. I think my Haley sent me out there to hear your message, to remind me that I'm not alone in this grieving process, and it does get more difficult. But I also wanted to share with you that it's amazing the wonderful people that have been put into my path during this process. And also I wanted to tell you to watch for the signs that Freda is still with you and still with her family.
Well, this call is one of them. Yeah. Thank you.
I really think so.
Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate it. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I didn't know you had more to say. But
very nice.
That's nice. I think that what we do by taking these phone calls, by playing these best of segments on the show today, we all help ourselves get through this. I'm struck by one thought that I only wish that we were helping the man that I want to help with this by doing this, and I don't think that's possible today, and I hope that sometime in the future, whether we sit around a table at a meal or whether we do it here on the show, that he can begin to heal the way we're beginning to heal right now. I tell you, this is the most that I've ever personally thought about grief and death and losing a loved one. And I think that it's enlightening in a lot of ways when you talk about losing somebody that's this close to all of us, and it hits so very close to home. You don't have these thoughts in your mind as we chug to work every day and as we deal with our day-to-day lives and these minor inconveniences that we all think are so earth-shattering. We don't think about the larger things. And I think it also is something that we don't think about the goodness that people have within them. And we also don't think about the fact that people do rally around each other, especially, I don't want to sound like Johnny Patriot, but especially it seems in this country when we were doing our 9/11 show, when you got that from people, by doing all of this, we're all doing the same thing for each other today. We're giving each other strength. And what delights me, and I didn't think I'd feel happy about anything today, is that this is helping people who have gone through similar experiences. If that is what's happening through this, then that's just another positive. So we'll take another phone call.
And we're sorry about their losses as well. We will all laugh again soon.
This is Deanie. Hello, you're on the air. Yeah, go ahead, Deanie. You're on the air. Okay, we'll go to Rob. You're on the air. Well, we have a little problem with this. Does this thing? I'm not usually pressing these buttons, so I'm not sure when they.
How's the touch screen?
Let me. You know what I'm doing? I think I'm probably hitting the wrong button there. There we go. Rob, you're on the air.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry about that.
Hey, I am so sorry to hear about your loss.
Operator error, as Don would say.
So sorry to hear about Don's loss. It's everybody's loss, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is for anybody that's been with our show for any length of time. For all of us, it's a very personal loss, and the grieving that we're doing today is not just for losing our friend Freda, but also for the feelings that I have for my radio partner, who's been such a part of this woman's life for over 23 years, isn't that right, that they've been together?
The mother of his child.
And that's as we go on, you say it comes to you in waves. I feel to a certain extent, yes, I'm glad we're doing this, but I also feel that I wish there was more that I could do to help him out. And unfortunately, in a circumstance like this, and anybody that's gone through it, time is really the only thing that can help.
So just give us a little time.
And we do hope that in time Don can heal. But I jumped in there, Rob. Did you have something else to say?
Well, it was pretty evident when we would hear them talking that she was a good woman. And I was just thinking, I lost my first wife. It's been a few years now. But a good wife makes you a better man. And we sure heard that dynamic going on all the time with them.
Absolutely.
And I think her influence will stay with him, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that he's there for his family right now, his family that he married into. And they are a close-knit group. I've seen them together, and believe me, he is very much a part of that family. I do hope that they give him the strength that he's able to give them. And I didn't even mention to Freda's mom my condolences to her and what she's going through right now, because I said at the beginning of the show, this is the second worst tragedy a human being, I believe, can go through. The worst is a child predeceasing you. I don't think there's anything that's worse than that. So, our hearts go out to her as well. We have time for a couple more phone calls. We're also going to play those wonderful Freda segments that we have from the Best Of, because I think they're making everybody feel better today.
Therapeutic.
Hello, Jesse, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How you doing, Jesse?
First off, I'd like to apologize for any background noise. I'm on a tractor, but today I just felt really moved to call in. Normally, I'd be pretty apprehensive and probably wouldn't do it just because you guys scare me. But this is just really, really moving me. And listening to Don and Freda on the phone when they would talk to each other. Don is just normally a brutal, to the point, rough guy, and when he'd get on the phone with Freda, he was a totally different person, and I could just totally see the love that was in between them, and it breaks my heart to hear of this terrible loss, and I just want you guys to know that my thoughts and my heart and prayer are going out to you and Don and his family, and I wanted to share, as I was listening to the Best Of while you guys were on vacation, there was a segment where a woman called in and was just totally fired up because you guys wouldn't give credit to Howard Stern for stuff. And after that woman was off, Freda called up and said just how incredibly pissed she was at this woman and was there to defend her man.
Yeah, that's what she did. We're territorial on this show. We are, and it's Jesse. I appreciate the call. It's so funny because it would be she would charge in. She would in a way be the knight in shining armor. If she felt like we were getting a little too much grief from somebody on some particular subject, whatever it was, she would rally and stick up for us. It was fantastic, and she would, she'd stick up for us, but make no mistake, she would stick up for Don. She would if Don and I were ever having a battle, and that happened over the years a couple of times, that she'd join the fight a little bit and come to his aid. Not that he needed it 99.9% of the time, but man, oh man, when you'd have her joining him in the fight, there was just that was a good person to have in your foxhole.
Must be like when she sides with your wife.
You can relate to that, Rob?
Maybe a little bit.
All right, I do want to mention because of the nature of these phone calls and the fact that this is good for people that are listening to the program. We're going to continue to take your phone calls through the broadcast today. We are also going to come back from the break and play another
tape from the best of collection that we have here. It's labeled Don's a Super Husband. Now this one I don't remember this one, but I think I've got an idea what it might be about. And if it's as good as that last one, we're gonna enjoy listening to it. And we will be back with more on the Don and Mike Show.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
The Don and Mike Show.
They have pouty, bee-stung lips. Don Geronimo and Mike O'Mara.
Very sad day here at the Don and Mike Show. We will recap for you if you have just tuned in. We're taking phone calls and playing tapes as a tribute to Freda, Don's wife, Freda Wright Source, involved in a tragic automobile accident, passed away late last evening. We do ask for all of you to pray for Don, his son, all of their family members, and we do thank the callers that have been calling all afternoon with their suggestions for grieving, their memories of Freda, what the show has done, and her participation in the show has done for them. All of that is hopefully helping all of us to feel better about that. And it's also a wonderful experience to recollect what somebody brought to the table, and actually things that we may not have even thought of yet.
Right.
And this is grieving. Before we play another, we're going to play some more of the best of segments featuring Freda on the show today. But I want to take this call because maybe this will be helpful. This is suggestions for grieving. Yes, go ahead. You're on the air.
This is Deanie. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
That's a silly question to say, actually.
That's all right. What people say.
I just want to tell you that, 3 months ago to this day, my 16-year-old son decided to end his own life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know that one of the best things that was done for me is that somebody provided a blank journal at the viewing. It helped the people that wanted to put an entry in there, whether it was a favorite moment, it was therapeutical to them. I've actually read it many, many times, and I've even read it to my son at the gravesite. Don's going to have a lot of support right now, and he will for a while, but eventually everybody gets to go home and on with living their lives. Right. And eventually the cards will stop. The calls will stop. Unfortunately, Don has a responsibility to tell people how to help him, and one of the best things you can tell him is when people have that line, let me know if you need anything. Don can simply say, you know what, drop me an occasional line. Give me a call every once in a while and check on me.
And I'm glad you said that.
Those are good points, and we've thought about some of those things. And I think the great thing about this radio family is that Don will be back and be part of it.
We have a call from Michael George. For the rest of you across the country, you might know him from the Sports Machine, and he has been on for a very long time here in Washington, D.C., one of the best sportscasters in the business. George, how are you?
Well, Mike, I feel so bad because, all the years that I would call Don and hassle him at home, the only fun part of the call was talking to Freda. I mean, I don't think people in the world really understand what a small group of people, those of us in radio and television, are. And it's like if you're in this fraternity that we're in, that we make our living in, we're all somehow related to each other, even though we may be competitors.
Right, absolutely.
And everything I think about, I'm sorry, it takes me back several decades, almost a quarter century ago, when I first started listening, talking to Freda.
Yeah.
And when you call Don Geronimo at home, which is not an experience you want to have to do, you would say, I don't want to talk to you. Let me talk to Freda so I can make some sense of this place.
Always more fun to talk to Freda.
All I really want to say is that when someone dies, it's so unexpectedly, and they're called so early to go home, we never know what to say. So the only thing I can say is that Don, every one of us who's ever known you, who's ever known Freda, has missed a piece of our life today, and I hope that all of those of us who feel so bad for you will make your pain and suffering just a little more tolerable. It's very hard. It's very hard. Harder than I think the average person can understand, because a piece of our lives has suddenly been wiped away.
Absolutely. I know, George, that Don would appreciate the call, and I'll pass along to him that you called us. We really do appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Take care and carry on.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
right.
George.
George Michael, the Sports Machine.
That's George, and George is a veteran of radio and television. We've known George for such a long time. We give George a hard time, and I do appreciate him.
Such a good guy.
I appreciate him.
Good friend of Don.
Let's do what we did before. It helped us all so much. If she's got got the dates, times, and places right, we'll bring Beth Ann back in here and get a little recap of the next best of segment that we are going to have here. And once again, I know now as more and more people are turning their radios on and finding out this tragic news that we have for you today on the Don and Mike Show, more and more people are calling in that want to vent, that want to share in this very, very tragic day. And we will try to get to your calls because it's helpful for us and it's helpful for you. BA, if you want to come in here to tell me what the super husband, Rob, do you know what this tape is that we're going to be listening to?
I believe it was Don he had a great weekend. He got the whole chore list complete.
Okay.
And we called Freda once again. Maybe we thought it was outlandish.
Okay, very good. This is Don's a super husband. Let's listen.
Oh, here's that's my wife calling right now. Darling.
Hello, sweetheart.
Here she is now. We got a game coming up here, so I want to keep this brief.
Okay, but let me stop you. Are you trying to get the Husband of the Year award? You were already perfect in your own little way, but now you're venturing into new areas of great guys.
Listen to this.
Okay, now how come I didn't get this in? Here's what I got, and I didn't say this to your face. I said it on the radio today. If you missed the early part of the show, I don't do anything. And I said to my wife I would paint a room. Mm-hmm. And to anybody that might just sound like a slug job, but to me it was like someone said, why not just build the Brooklyn Bridge?
Big deal.
So I painted the room.
And the carpet, too, I might add.
I mentioned that. And when my wife came home, the reaction that she got, here's what I got. She said, oh, this is beautiful. This is so nice. I am so glad I picked this color. This color looks great.
I thought you could tell that I said, this looks great. Oh, and the color's great. It's a great job. I thought you knew that was the application was half of it, the reason it looked great. I mean, the color looks nice, but you did such a nice job. I said, oh, this is beautiful. My feels of delight would have been payoff enough for you.
See, this is why we have to have these discussions on the radio, because sometimes in real life we don't.
We could have had this privately. You could have said.
What about yesterday when I came to see you at your job and you embarrassed me about my haircut?
You are so cute. You just didn't want to say you got to cut it hair cuttery. Nobody cares.
You do. You and all your snob friends do.
I mean,
the way you said it to me.
And I was mentioning how shy you were and sweet, and people remarked on how nice you were, and I said, oh, he's so shy. And when one person said, you really didn't look like you wanted to be there, I said, he's just shy. I said, and then I embarrassed him about his hair because he didn't want to say you got to cut it hair cuttery, and then the people all over say, well, I go to a barber. Well, I just go to this. It's all in your own little mind, my sugar bear.
I'm standing there with these people you work with, and you look at me like I'm 5, and you go, oh, look, you got your hair cut. Where'd you go? Like a retard, would you go? Where did you go? Did you go to the hair cuttery?
And the bad part was or the good part was that you had gone to the hair cuttery.
And it looked great, and and you should have been proud of that. Yes, I got it. I'm looking good. I told you how handsome you look, and I don't talk to you like you're 5. I talk to you like I love you, which is the way I would talk to one of our dogs or, a child.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
After having talked to you for about a minute here on the radio, did you dial the wrong number? Is this my wife calling today?
All right. Okay,
I'm just making sure.
You had just been such a great guy over the weekend. You have never talked to a contented wife, I guess. A happy wife. A wife that is, I was proud of my husband yesterday, and you even came in with the pink paint on your hands to show that you're a man around the house.
Right.
I don't know if you'd rather me be crabby with you. You can go back to your old ways. That's easily enough arranged.
No, I just didn't know. I didn't get quite the reality over the top that I'm getting now here. That's all. But okay, so you're happy. So you're not mad. You don't think I'm 5.
No, I talk to you like I love you.
Okay. Listen to that. She's filled with great love for you.
How about that? But now here's the question. Now, does that mean I have to do more work now?
Well, you can rest a little bit. There are other rooms, but I'm not lining you up. No, I'm not going to abuse you because you were good.
Okay, outstanding.
I'm not going to take advantage of you.
Is this let me just ask you one thing. Is this a trap? Is this a trap? If I do good stuff and you seem to be happy, is it a trap?
you just have no clue the way the world works. If you do good stuff and people become happy with you are just so unaccustomed to the role of good guy.
Yes, I am.
You don't know the reaction that this is the reaction you get.
Okay, well, how much good stuff do I have?
You get what you give.
Let me tell you a hint. That's why people do good stuff. It makes them feel good, and they get appreciated. You should try it. It's a really pleasant way of life.
I don't know.
You'll think it over.
I don't know. You know, I guess you're right. All right, darling. Thank you. And listen, how was work today? How were those fine people I met yesterday?
It was fine. I like my work. It was fun.
Okay, good. Well, that's all I have. This is not a trap. You promise?
I come home happy every day, just like you do from your job.
All right, enough of that. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, love you.
Oh, man. You know, that's a classic example of, it makes me realize the mood that was created when they would have those little exchanges. I think we all would occasionally, cringe a little bit when it would get pretty intense, but when those exchanges like that happened, when they were, basically playing with each other, and it was this little battle of wits that they would have going, and she was just dicing him up. It was so much fun, and I have a hope that listening to these, none of us, Buzz, Rob, myself, none of us knew how we were going to feel when we were listening to these tapes, and we are pleasantly surprised that they are actually making us smile, and we're reflecting on her wonderful life, and that she was taken obviously much too soon. But these tapes, I'm finding comfort in. I do not know whether Don will be able to do that. I don't know whether that will be too painful for him to listen to these tapes, but I certainly hope that even if it's in the privacy of his own home, if he can maybe listen to some of these exchanges. When you hear it in this context, when you hear it as on, when we're reflecting on her life, it really, you listen to it differently, and you realized what she had
and what she was, and that was really illustrated by the tape that we just heard. You really heard Freda in that, in the nicest possible way.
In her sweet way, and she's comparing him to a dog. I mean, that just kills me. It really does.
There's something, and I actually was talking to Carrie about this, is that you really can't drive someone crazy if they don't love you. Because you get to a point where it's just like, well, screw that. I'm done with it. But the way she could dice him up, and it's just a great illustration of, I don't know where one of them stopped and the other began.
He kept coming back for more, and so did the rest of them.
We have more of those tapes coming up before the end of the show. We're going to get to so many of these people that are waiting online to talk. Michael, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Mike. I was driving home when I heard the news, and I'm just stunned, as I think everyone is. That's been a fan of the show for years. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Freda years ago when we were both students at Clemson University. She graduated the year before I did, 1977. And I met her in, I guess it was 76, when she was a Bengal babe.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Believe that.
Yeah. And Don used to give her a hard time about that, too.
Yeah, they used to help.
As a tribute to Freda, we are not going to bring out the Clemson tapes. I don't know if that's I don't think she would have liked that. That's just my opinion.
People may not know also she was very active in the Baltimore-Washington Clemson Club. In fact, I believe she was on the board of directors. And I just joined the board of directors, and I was looking forward to meeting her at a future meeting. And now I'm saddened by the fact that I won't get to see her again, 40 years later now.
Well, I know if she was on the board, she would make any organization she was participating in just a little bit better, because she had that kind of energy, and she had an ability to take charge that we all appreciated.
And she was involved in other charities as well. We'll be hearing more about that. But that's something you haven't heard a lot about.
Yeah, that's why we mentioned. I should tell everyone that the only reason we are not giving out that kind of information is because we don't have it yet, and it's still early, obviously, in this tragic day. It's early in the grieving process for the family. I'm sure when that information becomes available, we will pass it along to you. And we appreciate your words for Freda. We thank you very much, Michael.
Well, thank you.
Okay, we'll take another call right here. This is Jason. Hi, Jason. How you doing?
Hi. My condolences to all of you and to the Source family. I'm not a long-time listener. I only discovered you recently after leaving my own drive time show, and I just hearing this today. I mean, this is to me what radio is all about. I think you guys have touched people, as obvious from the calls today, in a way that nothing else does, so much so that people feel that Freda was a member, of their own family, however indirectly. And I applaud you for having the courage to be on the air. And
that's not. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jason. That's not necessarily the thing. about when you listen to the best of tapes, and somebody mentioned to me before the show started that you listen differently, and it is like everything. It is someone is actually more appreciated when they're no longer here, and I think I made this statement because I was aware of her impeccable comedy timing when she would call the show, and it was something that I was not aware existed in other radio shows. It was that made this show so unique, and you really get a sense for it when because we're listening more carefully now than we did before.
And if you doubt
we took it for granted, actually. I mean, everybody's taken it for granted, but we certainly took it for granted.
If you doubt it for a second, no, not only is her timing perfect, but she's doing it over the phone.
Absolutely.
She was good.
She knew when to call. Okay, let's see. We've got I think this is Joni. Joni, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi there, Mike. Hi, Rob and Buzz. I just wanted to give my condolences here out in Sacramento and let you guys know that we are just deeply saddened. My husband listens to you guys faithfully, called me today, and I've just had a little Twitter in my stomach since I've heard.
Yeah. I think that we all, it was really like getting that shot in the gut. It goes right there. You talk about, as I said, we've examined a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions during the grieving process on the show today. But if you have a soul, if you have a human soul, if that exists, and I know that there have been theologians writing about it for millions of years, but if you have a soul, I think it would be right about there. I'm pointing to the center of your chest because that's
your stomach and your chest.
We've all compared notes on that, and that's what we've been dealing with. And I cannot imagine how difficult it is for that family and what they're going through. But I know, man, I at the same time, I will tell you, this is one strong group of people.
Yeah.
They are family all the way, and I think that their strength is going to carry them through this. And he's got. We've got his back at the radio family as well.
Yeah.
I want to pass that along. Let's take a couple more calls before we have to break. This is, I believe, Lynn. Yeah, Lynn, you're on the air. I'm sorry, Doug.
Hey, how you guys doing? Other than obviously,
right, of course.
I've been listening for several years, and I'm in shock, and I'm actually choked up, and I didn't realize how much all of you guys, families, and yourselves meant to me until today. It did. I lost my oldest brother a few years ago, and a lot of those feelings are being brought up today, and it's, it's someone I didn't know personally other than on the radio, and I'm just stunned by the whole thing.
No, we appreciate your call. A lot of callers today with the same feelings.
We've heard from people who say that the show and Freda have touched them somehow. We have been touched by the people we've heard from today.
Yeah, it's helped. It's helping me. It really is. And we're going to take some more of your calls right now. This is Alina, I believe. Hello, Alina. You're on the air.
Hi. How are you doing?
We're hanging in there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say on the Don and Mike website, on Freda's page, she would sometimes joke about how she hopes she's not boring the regular Don and Mike fans with her little stories. And I don't know if she knew that there's a lot of Freda fans out there. Everyone loves the Don and Mike show, but especially for us female viewers or listeners, when Freda would call in.
I smile when I hear you say that because, yes, Don and I would be sitting here, and when we get a call like this, we'd roll our eyes and go, yeah, we know. He loved it, though. He did love that. Yeah, she was a big part of the show, and whether she would participate once in a week or whether she'd be on 5 times during one day, she was always the presence. I would hope and I would like to think that presence will still be with us. I hope so. And, once again, I have to tell you how surprised I am at the way these tapes are making me feel today.
Yeah, it helps. It does.
I don't know if, I say it again, I wish we could pass some of this on to Don. He's in a devastating time of his life right now, and I hope that he can get some peace out of this. They're good that we have them, and we ought to keep them and make them available to the family so that if they feel the same way as we do. I do not know whether that's possible. I'm not a person that is familiar enough with the grieving process to know whether that would be helpful. But if it is,
whatever they want,
I hope we do that. Let's take a couple. Thanks so much. I appreciate the call, Alina.
Freda was and always will be just a huge part of the show, and there's just so many fans out there that will miss her so much.
You're right.
I just wanted to let people know that there's Freda fans, too.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the call.
She was a reasonable feminist voice. I think she spoke for a lot of women when she called into the show to protest one thing or another. She was speaking not just for herself, and, she knew the love was out there.
Let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I haven't really heard anyone say this, and so I'm kind of glad I can be the first to. I've grown up with the show. I started listening when I was in elementary school when you guys were on WAVA, and I found myself weirdly, maybe not weirdly, but just strangely affected to the point where I'm almost in tears, because I feel like I've lost an extended family member, and I can't even begin to fathom the amount of grief that you all and Don and Bart and Big Freda are going through. But and unfortunately, I don't really have anything funny to say. I just wanted to call in and say that that I feel a huge amount of grief, and I certainly hope that at some point everyone will feel better. But
thanks, Brian. We appreciate that. We really do, and I really do want to say that I know that all of us here, and I can't speak for the family, but I know they would appreciate the sentiments that we're getting today. The people that are calling with this. This is a helpful situation for all of us to get these phone calls. I mentioned this before that things will never be the same, obviously, but things do get better with time, and I say that to anybody that might have gone through a similar experience. It's a very, very tragic day, but we offer what we can offer, and that is our love and our support to Don and his family. And I know that he's got a lot of people thinking about him today, and a lot of people that are with him in spirit around the country that have listened to this program. And I'm very, very optimistic that we will be able to heal through this, that Don will be able to heal and move on, and we pass along our best to him. We have more tapes that we are going to play. One of my all-time favorites that's coming up on the show will be a tape from when Freda was on the cruise, and I believe got a little tipsy and took the microphone out, and that is an overwhelming tape. We're going to take some more of your phone calls as well, and we might have an abbreviated news. We might get to news. I'm going to feel it the way the phone calls are going right now.
I like that.
This is our day to reflect on the life of Freda and her, what she meant to all of us, and we will be right back after this.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
The Don and Mike Show.
Always immersed in thoughts. The Don and Mike Show.
Welcome back to the Don and Mike Show on a very sad day for all of us. If you have just tuned in, we have been paying tribute all day on the show to Don's wife, Freda, who regretfully was involved in an auto accident yesterday and passed away late last evening. All of us on the show, his radio family, we pass along our deepest condolences to Don. This was a friend of the show, a very big part of so many of our lives, and she will be deeply, deeply missed. The grief that we feel is not only for ourselves in losing our good friend Freda, but we so empathize with the Source family and the Wright family and what they're dealing with right now. This is a family that's had their fair share of some personal tragedies, and I will say a prayer every night that I can that they are able to find the strength to get through this, and that my radio brother, my good friend Don, gets through this as well as he can in what is, in my mind, a pretty unimaginable tragedy to deal with, and something that I don't wish on anybody. It has been a very therapeutic experience for all of us, taking your phone calls. We haven't gotten to them enough throughout the show. They're helping us deal with this, and I appreciate people calling with their thoughts about Freda. I will give this reminder that we will not be answering any specific questions about the accident. We are simply reflecting on her life and how much we will miss her. And if you have those questions, this is not the place where you're going to hear the answers to those questions. So we're going to try to get in this segment before the next segment when we're going to play another Freda tape. We're going to get to some of these phone calls, which we haven't been able to get to. So let's do that right now. Let's say hi to Sean. Hi, Sean. You're on the air.
Hi, Mike. Thank you very much for taking the call. I'm sorry for everyone's loss today. I just had a comment about, I wrote an email through the website to Don and Freda after they lost Rudy, and I sent an email saying our dog had just had puppies that same day, and offering saying, you guys, you're more than welcome to one, even though I'm clear across the country in Spokane, and I never thought anything of it after that, and to my surprise, Freda sent me a personal email the next day saying how much she appreciated someone who doesn't know them or anything else, and it it really caught me off guard to hear something bad.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because she answered a lot of emails, maybe for all I know, all of them. And I ran into Timmy O'Bibone in the hall a few minutes ago, and he said one of the things that he will remember is that whenever someone would write the show, write the Don and Mike website about him, that Freda always passed that along to him, as she did with all of us.
She was the conduit for a lot of information.
Yes.
And she did respond to so many people. She worked so hard, and that website was her baby, and she worked so very hard making that. We were late to the party in the internet world, and we, as far as with the streaming, and then before that with our own website, and she was definitely the point person for that for us, and worked very, very hard, along with your wife. Rob, and they had a lot of fun, I know, in their participation with that, and it's just one of the many, many things that she did. But she was very special in that she could make you feel 10 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
People with powerful personalities have that gift. Yes. They are able to be in your presence, and just Rob had mentioned this earlier in the show. They can give you just a little something that'll uplift you and make you feel good. And we've all been saying today that, do you think she'd like it? Do you think she'd like what we're doing? I think she would really be pleased with the one element of the show, and that's the phone calls today. And that's why we're going to take some more right now. Good. Hello. Okay, I think I messed up with that one. Okay, James, you're on the air. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that I understand that, you're your fans and listeners, and we're not really family. Got to keep it in perspective.
Sure.
But I've been listening in Sacramento for as long as you guys have been broadcasting here, and some of the best parts of the show, we're listening to a very young Bart call in.
Yeah.
And our thoughts and prayers go out to Bart on the loss of his mother.
Okay, thank
you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's take another phone call here. This is I'm mastering the touch screen, which I haven't used yet. And this is Tim. I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead. You're on the air. Tim, are you there? I might have messed that one up. Might be operator error again. Let's go to Jason. You're on the air.
Mike, how you guys doing today?
We're doing that. Thanks to a lot of these callers are I know, helping us with this show today, and I appreciate that.
Well, I've been listening to the show for 10 years, and I do consider the lot of you my friends and family. You guys, I know more about your guys' families than I do pretty much about mine.
That may be true.
And one thing I liked about the Freda element is, Don and Mike, they're kind of a larger than life, and she brought a real element to the show that showed that Mike and you and everybody and Don were real people, and it brought a really good dynamic to the show that I think really added to the depth and made people care about you guys. So just my
it's a miracle right there.
Yeah, my condolences to everybody, and I lost my mom about 4 years ago, and my father went through that. And when you lose a soulmate, I think it's one of the hardest things you can do, like you said, or losing a child. So,
thank you very much. We appreciate the call. Oh, I'm off again. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to say so many things. I don't mean to cut people off. That's not what I want to do today. They were soulmates. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, those two,
good ones, great ones.
They were that relationship was something that was so unique and so amazing to watch from the sidelines. And I said it before, and I'll say it again, that I used to watch it and say, man, maybe I should try this and that. And I don't think that they were two unique people as far as that was concerned.
We all learned from their relationship. Learned how to have a relationship from watching the two of them.
We're going to I do want to mention that after our next break, we are going to play the tape of Freda from the cruise. So if you heard that we were going to play that, that's been very helpful for all of us. But right now we want to get to as many calls as we can. Hello, Mark, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. My condolences to everyone there at the station. I've lost family members, so I can relate to what you're going through. The main reason I'm calling you today is to tell you how important it is of what you're doing for your listeners. A local sports radio station here in Tampa lost a member about a little over a year ago that, Mike, I think you're probably familiar with because he's from Baltimore, and that was Chris Thomas.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And you know Chris, okay. And it was so important for everyone in this radio community to be able to call and tell the station and the crew how much that person meant to us and how much the loss was so great for the listeners. And I know, and I'm fairly new to your show because Tampa didn't get you guys until recently, but Freda was definitely one of my favorite parts of the show, and how much that loss is going to mean to me And I just want you to know how important it is that what you're doing to let your listeners vent and get this out and tell how much she was important to them.
Thanks,
so
Mark. Thanks. We appreciate that. I do want to also mention Frank Herzog called.
Yeah.
We appreciate Frank calling in with his condolences.
Longtime voice of the Redskins and a very nice guy.
And, it really is, I think George had mentioned it, that, we're a pretty small group of people. I will mention also on this day that, we lost another friend of ours, David Haynes, a longtime newsman, the guy that really worked with us the longest before Buzz, right. And when we were doing the old morning show. And you had said that to me, Rob. It was a strange day today to see this for David Haynes and his family and Donnie Simpson, everybody over WPGC. We'd like to send out our condolences to them too, because we know it's been a tough day over there as well. Very, very tough day around local radio and national radio, and we're all kind of dealing with some tough things today, but nobody more than my radio partner, Don Geronimo, and I just got to say it again. I hope that he is finding some strength with his family and his loved ones around him this afternoon and this evening. Hello, this is Kevin. You're on the air.
Hey guys. The one thing that went through my head today, as I'm listening to this, is that I'm going to go pick up my girlfriend right now, and I'm going to give her an extra squeeze. And I think everybody in the radio audience and everybody who has a significant other, a child, whatever, they just should go ahead and give that person an extra hug, because we don't have, we don't realize sometimes that life is so fragile that, it could just all go away in 1 minute. And, you got to love the people that are there and right now, and love them thoroughly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. He's right. I mean, we've all said that to each other. There are people that say everything does happen for a reason. You think about a tragedy of this magnitude, and you say, what can the reason possibly be? You do when something of this magnitude hits this close to home. You do evaluate everything in your life. You take stock, and it might not make anybody feel better that's going through the tragedy, but the fact is you do that, and that is a positive thing, that you do bring people closer to you, and you bring people, and that's not a bad thing for all of us as human beings to do.
I think it's important to point out, too, that they both appreciated what they had, and even within the last week, I know that they were able to tell each other how much they cared about each other, how much they loved each other. Talking to Don Sunday, as a matter of fact, before the accident, before any of this happened, Don told me how much he loved her. And how much he will always love her.
Oh, that's great.
So that continued, and it's important that they did get that said. That's what the caller was saying, and that's what we should all do.
He ended every show with that, and he said it almost every time that he was on the phone with her, on air or off air. Yeah. And that's something for everybody to remember there. Let's take a few more phone calls here. This is Lynn. I think we may have not gotten to Lynn before. Lynn, you're on the air.
Hey, how you guys doing? I just want to give my condolences. I've been a long-time listener. Freda was born on the same day as my wife, so they shared the same birthday. We've been together almost identical the length of time as Don and Freda, and my son's the same age as Bart. So I heard it today, and it just really...
Well, we appreciate the call.
Just really
made you appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, thanks so much. A lot of people some people have more trouble articulating this, but I'm blown away by the articulation of our listeners today, and people expressing themselves and doing their very best to make certainly us feel better here. I wish I could bottle that and maybe give some of that to the family tonight. Hello, this is Steven. You're on the air.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to let you know, I don't even know what year it was, but a while back, I know Ocean City's been a weird market for you guys, and I know they have a place down there, but my wife and I went down to see you guys at a live show at Secrets years ago, and I know you guys have a lot of responsibilities when you're at live shows, and maybe you're not as accessible as the fans would like, but I got a chance, and my wife and I got a chance to meet Freda and Big Freda. And as you can tell, I'm a little choked up. It's just weird. I've been listening to you for 10 years, and I turn on the radio today and expect to hear you guys telling funny stories, and figured that Don and Freda were down at Ocean City, and I'd get to hear about their funny times down there. But she was so accessible, and Big Freda, too. They were just so happy and enjoyed life that they were there at the show and had fun with the fans. And I understand why you guys can't come down because you get mobbed, but she was just sitting there having drinks and talking with all of us, and it was cool to be able to reach out and touch you guys like that through her. And we hear it on the radio all the time, and I love what you guys are doing today to give all of us a chance to grieve with you.
Thank you. I'm glad you got to meet her.
Yeah.
Man, appreciation to all these people that are calling with these. I think what people really, to me, connected with Freda was the power of that relationship, both that came through the radio, and that's what I seem to be getting from somebody. But he's absolutely right. Personally, if you had that chance, if you had an opportunity to meet her personally, the strength of that personality is what I remember the most. That she just had that. She had the energy, and it was something very, very special. Let's go to Jason. Jason, you're on the air.
Hey guys, I just had last night I happened to be listening to my collection, my R.I.P. like collection of Don and Mike shows of past.
There's another one?
Another pirate is out there.
And I just happened to come across this show. It was in 2001, right before all the midday stuff started happening and everything. But this guy called the show, and he started talking to Don, and he made it past because he had all the right information, but he talked about he had dated Freda before they had gotten married. And, of course, Don was not exactly happy about hearing that.
Right.
And the whole thing went on, and, of course, gets Freda on the air, and guess what? Yeah. He did date her 20 years ago. And
I remember that.
And it just went on and on. And, of course, Freda, at the end of it, Don's just absolutely annoyed that this guy has dated his wife in the past.
Sure, who can blame him?
Sitting there going, leave him alone. I don't remember him, but I'm sure he was nice.
I remember that comment. I do.
I want to remind you, too, of a story that Don used to tell about when he first met Freda, and he wanted to see more of her. She was
he played the hard-to-get routine, didn't he?
Well, he tried various approaches, and at one point, because she was worth it, and at one point, she said to him, I just want to be friends. And he said, forget it. I'm not going to call you anymore. I have enough friends. I don't need friends.
That's right.
I want you as a lover, and eventually that's how he won her.
Yeah, and it is. We've heard that story before, and they had that relationship
and he was
going.
Fiercely territorial about Freda.
He was.
Rightly so.
You couldn't say anything on the show, even if it even approached that flirtatiousness. It was we'd get shut down very quickly on that one.
He won't even lend out a DVD. What do you think? I mean,
let's take another call. We're going to take a call from Pete. Pete, you're on the air.
Hey guys, I want to let you know that I lost my wife a year and a half ago, and the thing that helped me get through all of that, and it was right before Christmas, was listening to you guys in the afternoon, and I know my wife was a huge fan of Freda's.
Oh, thank you.
I sure miss her a lot.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the phone call, and it's funny when we get a call like that. I hear that somebody's lost somebody. I'm waiting. I think I'm taking these phone calls to see if anybody's got some advice for how how Don can deal with this and how we can all deal with this. We're doing really the only thing we know how to do, which is come in here and talk on the radio, and hopefully it makes us feel better. It's funny
for us
as we go on and we listen to these people. It's just. The waves are still there. I find that the waves of emotion where the reality of it. A
couple of the calls.
This is new to us also right here, and it is fragile. Life is fragile. It hits so close to home, and I know it might sound trite to say like that last caller said, but if you got somebody in your life that is close to you, and this serves to make you appreciate them more than you're honoring her memory. I do believe that.
It's so hard, and I'm a little younger than you guys, and I've never lost anyone that I would consider a contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know how I'm dealing now or how I'll deal, 24 hours from now. And it's rewarding to know that talking to you guys, I know I'm getting a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when a caller calls in and says that this is helping them, it's helping us.
Yeah, it is.
So thank you.
We're going to take a call from a regular listener right now. We haven't heard from in a while. Blind Glenn, who has been on the show a bunch of times. Glenn, how are you?
Hi, Glenn.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First of all, I want to relay the story, but first of all, I just want to say my condolences to Don and his family. I love you, buddy. Now, remember this time, about 2 years ago, I think it was, when Don was going to have a weekend to himself. He was going to watch football, and Freda was gone somewhere. It was a real cold day, and he decided to light a fire in the fireplace.
Oh my God! Oh yeah, we were.
Oh, and he practically burned the house down.
And he forgot to open the flue
or flume, as he called it.
The flume.
Yes.
And the whole house filled up with smoke. But he thought he could just go ahead and paint over the fireplace, the part that burnt. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Freda, but he couldn't put it past her.
That's real, man. We saw that fireplace, too.
That's classic. There were 100 stories like that one regarding Don and
Glenn, we appreciate your call. Thanks so much. We love you, too. Thank you very much. That's another way I think of all the tapes that we could be playing today and that we would have. That was one where he would try to, he not exactly Mr. Handyman, and he made every effort to be that. We're going to take a couple more before the break. This is Heidi. Heidi, you're on the air.
Hi, I was just calling to give my prayers to the family, and we're all going to miss Freda so much, it's not even funny. But she did give a lot to the show, and I hope Don gets through this okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Heidi. We'll take one more before the break. Kelly, you're on the air.
Hi, I have a funny story about Freda.
Good.
We were down at the beach, and my son is the same age as Bart. And it was the only time I got to meet her, but my son had taken off. I turned my head for a second, and he had bolted away from me. Wow. And without even thinking, she took off, and she grabbed a hold of him and brought him back, and she and I had this wonderful conversation about kids for about 15 minutes. And she was so real. I mean, no pretentiousness. I couldn't believe it. She was just the nicest lady.
Thank you.
And I can't imagine how my son would feel. So, and he actually, when Bart went to college, my son joined the Marines. Right. And I would send him, I record the show, and send him tapes of this show all the time. And he doesn't know yet, but I send him an email, so.
All right. Well, we appreciate the thoughts, Kelly. Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
She had great mom instincts as well.
Yeah. She did.
And she's helped Carrie 1,000,000 times with that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she,
the whole time.
The thing that amazes me is how many people that she touched when she'd meet them personally, and that's an opportunity that so few people really got. We did a lot more out and about than Freda would do, and that's she touched a lot of people like that.
But I think the people that met her got more out of it than the ones that met us.
Well, that's always been the case.
I think you're right. We're going to come back and play some of my favorite Freda segments on the show, tapes from the cruise. It's a kind of I think it's just a collection of several little vignettes where she was crawling all over this cruise ship and had a couple of drinks when she was doing this and had an awful lot of fun with just taking a microphone and interviewing people. We really want to thank everybody that is called in and expressed their condolences to Don's family, and we want to share our love to all of them, and we are there for them. And we know that the listeners have our back today too. We appreciate that. We'll come back with another Freda tape from the show, and we'll be right back after this.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
Don and Mike Show.
Working amongst the drones, the Don and Mike Show.
Welcome back to the Don and Mike Show on a very sad day as we mourn the loss of Don's wife, Freda, tragically killed yesterday in an automobile accident. She passed late last evening, and we are taking your phone calls, playing clips from Freda on the show, and doing our very best to get through what is a very difficult day, certainly for us, but unimaginable what it must be for Don and his family, and our prayers and our sympathy go out to them, and with the strength of their family, their wonderful family, I hope that they're able to begin the healing process and get through a very difficult time. Mentioned that we wanted to play this segment, a rather long segment from Freda. It's a tape of a cruise that they were on, and when Freda took the roving microphone and wandered the ship. We've enjoyed these all afternoon, and let's hear Freda as the roving reporter from their recent cruise.
Okay, vacation. Here she is. It's Saturday night. She's got a tape recorder. She's helped me take notes of all these dumb things these people have said.
Right.
And then she says, I'm going to go interview people. And I said, do this without me. This will embarrass me. And I tried to explain to her that if you're going to go do this, you have to have goofy questions that make people look dumb. But I don't think she did. I've not heard the tape yet. If it sucks, we'll stop it. Here is my wonderful wife talking to people on our vacation.
Tape quarter while we were on the Bahamas, so that he doesn't know. He would kill me. He would be embarrassed. I have to record you while he's not here. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, now, is she sober then?
No.
She doesn't sound with that. Yeah.
Now, let me explain to you this guy. This is a guy from Turkey. And his name is Tuncay.
Tuncay!
Now, here's a guy that you would think, with me, Tuncay, Turkey, I'm like a mile away from him because he's not an American. As it turns out, this guy was a great guy.
You're the everyman. And you don't discriminate, right?
No, I do, Mike, but let me just say, I use discretion. And in this case, there was no need.
I try to help a guy out.
He's a discriminating.
I know you're trying to help me. I appreciate it.
I'm not doing that again.
Anyway, he's a good guy, and now Freda's talking, because I've been down at the bar with him just about every night.
Tuncay.
And he's a passenger? No, he works on the boat.
Oh, okay.
He's a bartender.
Oh, cool.
So I've gone down and I've had a cigar with him, and he's told me about his problems with his girlfriend. And as it turns out, this guy was one of my best friends on the ship.
Tuncay.
So here he is now being interviewed by Freda.
Tape quarter while we were on the Bahamas, so that he doesn't know. He would kill me. He would be embarrassed. I have to record you while he's not here. Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
She's drunk.
Because he'll talk about you when he gets back home. He likes you, so he'll talk about you. Yeah? Yeah, so it would be better to have your voice, I figured.
No. Come on, Freda.
Yeah, you'll never know.
Wait till she gets the hiccups. No, I can't even hear the guy.
I will, because he won't be able to imitate.
Do you think she's using the Larry Bud Numb and Mike technique?
I don't know. I tell you what she was just doing, though, was she was just taking a sip of a beverage that I could hear.
Now, did she have like a hand mic, or is it just the mic that's in the recorder?
She went out and bought a big-ass microphone.
We were on the Bahamas, so that...
Oh, you recued it.
Yeah, let me fast forward this over.
He doesn't know.
She's a little baked?
She's totally baked. Do it again?
Yeah, hold on.
She's totally baked. And I had asked her...
trying to talk to the bartender, but she's not getting him on tape.
She said, well, I didn't want to get him right up by the microphone. Is this her? Hello?
It was supposed to be edited. I haven't even... I'm warming him up.
Okay.
I've just got it rolling while I'm...
All right,
I'm greasing the wheels here, and I only end up asking him like one question, but I haven't asked it to him yet. That's why.
Okay, all right. I'll let it roll. Thank you.
You were supposed to chop this up.
I told you I don't chop it up. I listen to it as it is.
All right, then you pay the price.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right, you wanted to be Stuttering John.
We don't edit Freda's thoughts.
Well, Stuttering John got hired by Jay Leno.
Right. Of course.
Freda and I were looking at that going, what's up with that?
What the hell is the deal with that?
What's happening with that? She wanted the job.
Yeah, I guess we're waiting.
I'll ask you a question. It'll be easy.
Here we go.
I'll ask you something I want to know anyway.
Oh.
I won't ask you till I hand you this.
You're not there now.
No, I'm definitely not there.
No, it'll be easy. All right. So it might be on the air, but... All right, let me give you this too. Yeah. Tell me. I heard you tell people to call you Tony, but I called you Two-Handle.
Now, where is she?
I don't know what's going on. I can't hear her now.
They call me Tony because it's short and easy to remember. And
say your name the way you would pronounce it?
It's Tuncay.
Tuncay.
Yeah, exactly. It's Tuncay.
So what she's doing the Larry Bud thing.
Yeah, but she's asking the question with the microphone in his face.
Right.
Yeah. She's having a little issue with going between her mouth and the...
she is.
Yes.
But, in American, in English language is G, in my language is... In your language is key, in my language is G. So, we pronounce different, you pronounce...
This is the guy I got along with.
The way it is. Oh, goodness, somebody's close.
That's all right. I'll say it right now. Tuncay. Good.
So drunk.
Now, she planned this when she was sober, though, right? But executed it while she was drunk?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try now.
Robbie, will you pause it again? If this is her calling again, this is ridiculous. Lucy?
He's on the other side of the bar. I had to hand him the entire microphone.
All right.
That's stupid.
All right. Bye.
Okay. All right, goodbye.
Bye, Lucy. Don't call this number again. Okay. Here we go. Freda?
I'm gonna try and get Wilfred on tape.
Wilfred.
Her butler.
The guy came to our room.
But he went back into the...
Chasing Wilfred.
I have to wait till he comes out.
Should have seen her walking around the ship with this gigantic microphone.
Sorry. All right. I'm just hanging around out here, and then I have to go to the bar.
She's waiting out in the hallway with a microphone?
All right.
Mm-hmm. She's waiting for this guy.
For a scrapbook. So I wanted to get you on tape. Now let me here. I'll hold it. So you have to tell us if how we've been as people on the hall.
I'm not good in this.
Oh no, you'll be wonderful.
Well, I'm a Wilfred, and I was a butler for 1208.
Yeah.
Okay, and they've been very wonderful with me.
That's our room, 1208.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my husband wanted to know if you saw his dirty underwear.
Never.
Yeah, good.
Hey, good.
No, well, you're lucky then.
She took my question.
So that's good. And were you saying this was your first? You've been a butler before up here.
Listen to her. Glug, glug.
This is actually, I'm a butler for 3 years, and this is my first time I'm working for the Sky Deck.
So you're new to this deck, and so we haven't given you a hard time. We've been nice to you, haven't we?
Exactly, and y'all are lucky to have me.
Yes. Oh yes, we've enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much.
I hope to see y'all again sometime.
Oh yeah, you will.
That's a dude who was knocking on the door.
We will. Thank you, Wilfred.
Thank you. Have you all done this,
Wilfred seeing you in a towel.
Are you doing it?
All right, this is tape for possible broadcast. Yeah, right. Just a couple of folks from Baltimore, just enjoying the cruise.
Sure are having a good time, hon.
Great, I know. So, do you feel like a celebrity?
Yeah, that's the name of the ship. It's a celebrity ship.
So, which celebrity would you be?
I always kind of thought of myself as a Garth Brooks kind of guy, because I like country music.
Yeah, you have that look. Right. Yeah, you do. I noticed that about the minute I saw you.
Garth Brooks on Mars.
His lovely wife, but you're too shy to speak.
Yeah, I'm retired.
Well, as long as you can just say that you're shy on mic.
I'm shy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So,
these people, I don't even know these people.
What happened while you were on board?
We saw the man and the lady that didn't make it back to the ship today. That was the most exciting thing that happened to us.
And did you see all the shows? Did you see the comedian?
The comedian, he was as funny as the guy on Raymond. I forget his name. We laughed.
Stop this for a second. We loved everything on this ship, but this comedian was a guy from Star Search who could not have sucked more. Both Freda and I were sitting there for this entire show, and we were drinking.
Was it a comedian that was so bad he made you angry?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Because Mike, a lot of his shtick was based like in 1965. Here was a big one. How many of you guys can relate to this? When I'm getting ready to go on this cruise with my wife, she's got a bag on the bed with stuff for the cruise I'm not allowed to touch. She says, hey, don't touch that toothpaste. That's for the cruise. Meanwhile, all the dumb...
They're laughing with their jaws unhinged.
Straight unwashed. They're
sure, well, dying to be entertained. I mean, the cruise ship audience, that's why you get that entertainment, because they're dying to be entertained.
How does he stack up with Noodles Levinstein?
He's not as great. And furthermore, if I had had one more drink, I would have challenged him on his claim that he's been on Jay Leno.
Really?
He's so bad.
You just don't think there's a chance.
I can't even picture him being one of those guys that go like at the light. Yeah. Here it is for the last 5 minutes. I couldn't even picture that.
This sounds like these are your neighbors that you're talking to here.
Yeah, I saw a number of people that were enjoying the comedian just like that. Well, I appreciate you talking with me.
It's a great pleasure, and thanks a lot.
And can you say hi to Don and Mike?
Hi to Don and Mike. I listen to you guys on the radio all the time.
All right, thank you.
There's a lot of people on that boat.
Did she have fun doing this?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people on the boat listen to the show because it sailed out of Baltimore.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
I got hiccups.
Oh,
now, bummer.
Hold on.
All right.
Pause it. This is, if you know Freda, when she is drunk, she gets hiccups.
Okay.
And she gets hiccups.
So it's a real sign that she's definitely...
she gets hiccups that don't stop.
Wow.
And it's exactly like this. 1 cosmopolitan, 2 cosmopolitans, 3 cosmopolitans, hiccups.
Okay.
So here we go.
Yeah. I got hiccups. Oh, 14, bummer. All right. No.
Catch that?
That's cute.
Yeah.
Toodaloo. If we have...
Oh, now she's trying to go to the...
Oh, this is the second one.
Cruise director.
No, wait a minute. Keep going. Come on, we need 14.
Come on, 14.
Come on, 14. Come on.
She's in bingo.
No. 15.
She's
come
playing
on,
bingo?
Come on.
Yeah.
Nobody's got 15. No.
She is drunk.
Listen to this.
She's really...
No, he's lying. He was lying.
It is the best part. This is the best part of the tape right here.
Can we lie? Can we fill in 15?
Can we?
No. All right.
Can we go?
No, all right. I don't even remember what it was. Bummer. I wanted to get up and get Toodaloo on Mike.
Oh, this cruise director, the British guy.
She's talking at bingo?
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh.
Her big sign-off is Toodaloo.
Shoot! We almost had it. Thanks for helping. Yeah.
We never get to do any of these.
Oh, bummer. Oh, hey!
We had 14.
We have 14 over here. No. All right. I'm turning up the mic. We'll get her later.
So drunk. It's almost over.
Is this the same time frame right here?
Yeah, same night.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
This is over like a 4-hour period Saturday night.
So she gets progressively...
Oh, we are. We're making an audio scrapbook.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't have time to stop now because I've got
Cruise director.
stage in less than 5 minutes.
Just say your famous Toodaloo.
Oh, okay. Toodaloo.
Thank you.
That's great. Bitch.
Later tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Bye.
She didn't have time? Did she fancy herself a big celeb?
Too busy.
I dropped my purse. Wait a minute.
Oh, dear.
Freda.
Yeah, you wanted to win. No. All right.
It's like so
Not really. No.
That's where it goes dead.
The end? Is that it?
Goodbye. Is that it?
Never caught up
that
with
was good.
Toodaloo
I like
lately.
the real drunk Freda.
Yeah, bingo was great.
4 hours.
Bingo was the best.
She went out for 4 hours, and that's all she got.
Yeah, it was,
Okay. That's my girl.
Wow.
That is my girl.
Can we hear it again? Can we play bingo?
Isn't the hiccuping the best?
Oh, and the one was just really pronounced. I mean, a real
We have 14.
You know, of all the things on that tape, I think if you get that hiccup, you can probably isolate that hiccup.
I got hiccups.
Oh, that's great. And we did isolate it.
Yeah.
We did. We say that we had that tape, and it was Freda on the cruise ship with the microphone. These tapes have been just terrific to listen to today. I think that segment illustrated how much she enjoyed the show and how much she enjoyed being a part of the show. And speaking of Freda on tape and Freda on the show, I also remember a time that Dawn answered the hotline. And it was Freda's phone, but Freda didn't know she'd called.
Oh,
when she was outside a store, her phone was in her purse as she was checking out that the was store. Great. So we listened to her check out. She had no idea she was on the air that time. I want to share this email that we received because this is somebody that we worked with a long time ago. Please accept my deepest sympathy on the death of Freda. I emailed Don earlier today, but I know that it will be quite a while before he has time to check all his emails. I heard the news from Lou Katz this morning. Lou is a guy that we worked with at WAVA. I've also heard from several former WAVA employees, Sandy Weaver, Mark St. John, Nick Rosenoff, Carl Phillips, Gene Baxter, Tom Kent, Paul Kidwell, Maureen Henley, and Mark Anthony, all who sent along their condolences and prayers. Freda meant a lot to all of us who worked with Don and Mike. Please let me know if there will be a funeral or memorial service. That was from Frank Murphy, our former producer who wanted to weigh in with that. And We do want to get to some more phone calls, which we're going to do, and if we do have time, we'll try to play one final tape from the best of the Freda. There's so many of them, and I think maybe we'll get a chance to do that more as the week progresses. I want to explain to everybody that we're dealing with a work in progress here. We're finding our way. We're figuring out exactly how we go about this, and we do promise all of you that we are going to slowly but surely ease back into what we do, which is have fun on the radio. We are surprised. I think we all were surprised that we've been amused and enjoyed these tapes so much. They've actually made us all feel better, and your phone calls have made us feel better too. But we're going to find our way with our team leader, who is going through this tough time and is going to take as much time as he needs. And we ask that you bear with us as we try to figure out exactly how we do that. This is an unusual situation for all of us associated with the show. It's something that I've never experienced in over 20 years of radio, and frankly, it's a very, very difficult thing to figure out how you ease back into being funny on a week that's just not, you don't want to necessarily make people laugh. But I tell you something, that we got a directive from someone that says, go do a funny show. Yeah. And that came from Don himself. That shows you how much he has the respect for his audience and the people here at the radio station, that he wants the show to go on, and we're going to honor his wishes with that.
You were talking about standing by and being patient, and Don, I don't know if people know this or not, no matter how tired he is or how sick he is, no matter what the circumstances have been in the past, he always made it a point to be here and to bring the energy level up to 100%.
Absolutely.
And he's given and helped us give to the listeners over these past years, and we just hope that you'll give us a little slack here and give us some time to get back on our feet and be as patient with us and as dedicated as he has been for you.
We're going to take a break. We will come back with more of your phone calls and hopefully get a chance to play this Freda segment, which was an episode of Make Freda Laugh. I think we've covered everybody on the show, but there was actually a segment where we made Freda laugh, and that was very special. And more of your phone calls on a very, very sad day. Once again, I'm going to say it, our condolences out to Don and the entire Source and Wright family on this day of very, very difficult circumstances for them. We'll be right back.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
Don and Mike Show.
How are you anyway? The Don and Mike Show.
That's an interesting question today, isn't it? Yeah. We are back with myself, Mike, Buzz, and Rob on the Don and Mike Show, celebrating some segments that Freda's done on the show in years past. I have to recap for you. Unfortunately, I hate doing it. That if you just tuned in, you're not aware. Unfortunately, the show and Don's family experienced a devastating day yesterday. Don's wife, Freda Wright Source, involved in a terrible auto accident, passed away late last night. We are mourning her loss as a friend, as the conscience of this show, as the wonderful wife of our dear friend Don, and we can't even imagine what he's going through. Your phone calls have been very, very comforting to all of us here on the show, and we do wish that we could bottle them up and send them out to the Source and the Wright family as they deal with this tragedy. But a very sad day for all of us, and I want to reiterate to each and every one of you that your phone calls have made a difference for us today.
It helped us.
We don't know when you go into something like this, you really don't know what you're going to get. But both listening to these hysterical, just so full of wonderful life, these tape segments that when she made me realize every time she'd step into the spotlight on this show, she would elevate the life force that we had, and then you become acutely aware of that when you're playing these tapes and reflecting on her life, and it's truly special and I hope that people listening are getting the same benefit out of that we are. We're going to take some phone calls and then play another Freda segment on the show. For the segment where she showed up, I think Don made her do Make Us Laugh, and she was wearing one of those wigs that she got, and we're going to play that for you later. But let's get some phone calls on the air when we can. Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Yes, this is Jason.
Hi, Jason. How you doing?
As good as any of us can do.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to touch on family a little bit. A couple years ago, I won the chance to win the Jeep Liberty. You remember that contest?
Yes, right.
And I came up to that, and I brought my mother. So, we were there together for that. And then this year, I I won the Shield thing, you asked my wife all of the probing questions. I just wanted to say, as a long-time listener, it's more than just a show. It's sort of been interactive in my entire family. So I just wanted to send out a lot of love.
Okay, thank you, Jason. We appreciate that. We're going to take as many of these as we can. Barbara, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you? I guess as well as can be expected.
Right.
I'm calling actually from Watertown, New York. I grew up in Arlington, Virginia. I've been listening since you were the Morning Zoo.
Yeah, a long time
way
ago.
back. And my sister just called me, actually. I try and listen to you on once in a while when I realized I could do that. But she called and let me know, what happened. And I was just, I guess like everybody else, absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you guys know we're thinking of you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you for everything you've done over the years.
Thanks for your call. We appreciate that.
We'll try to continue to do it.
Frank, you're on the air.
First of all, thank you for taking my call. My condolences to not only you, but to the entire staff. I think it goes without saying that it's courageous beyond anything I could ever compare to that you are even doing the show today. You've been there so many times for us when we haven't been able to voice to you, and it's in silence. I just wanted to say to you that the fact that you're there today for us is a testament to everything you've done, and we honor Freda today. I just wanted to thank you.
That's nice of you to say that. I appreciate that, and I sure hope we're doing that. Let me see. We've got Dave. I think, did I take that before, or is this, well, I don't know. The day is getting long. Yes, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
This is Dave. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, like you said, reiterate everything that you've said. I'm in the radio business myself, and I was a DJ, and I just really hope that the listeners are giving you as much support as possible, because I know how hard it was for you to get on the air today, because I remember I've had both ends of the spectrum. I was a DJ, and I had listeners call me when my son was born, people that I'd never met before.
Yeah.
And then when my mom died, and I was off the air for 2 weeks, and the last thing I wanted to do was come back and get on the radio. And here's people that I'm sure have called me every day on the air that I've never met before that are calling me and sending me support and whatnot. So I hope you guys are getting everything that you deserve, and we thank everything that you've done. And I just want to send my condolences to Don and especially Bart. I don't know if that sounds a little selfish, but I've lost a mother, and I can only imagine what he's going through.
Okay,
So
we appreciate that.
There's a real connection today, between us and the listeners.
Yeah, Mike said it earlier that unlike any other medium, radio is so intimate, and it's amazing to feel that connection, and it's helpful.
We're going to take a call from John. Hi, John, you're on the air.
Hi, how you doing? I'm just devastated by what I've heard. I was hoping you guys were going to tell me, oh yeah, it's a big joke.
No.
But my condolences to Michael Soros and
Thanks. We appreciate that, John. It as strange and odd as it sounds, Rob and I had that discussion before the show where we actually thought that I think both of us in a way this is some kind of joke, and I think that's the denial phase where you're going to come around the corner and hey, this is a sick joke. This is not real. This didn't happen, and I'm going to pull into the station and everybody's going to be mocking me and pulling a big April Fool's joke in July on me, and no, it's not. It is as real as it gets.
And even we weren't sure how we were going to be able to do a show today, but what we learned is you come in here and you turn on the microphone switch and you just start talking about what you feel, and it's worked for us.
Let's play the last tape that we have of Freda for you today. This is an episode of Make Freda Laugh where she came in and she had the wig. There was much discussion about the purchase of this wig, and it goes something like this.
Now listen, Freda's here with a crazy wig. Robbie got 10 minutes on the clock.
Starts with the first thought. Which will make you laugh?
Which would make you more comfortable?
I'd probably be more relaxed if I were sitting.
Okay,
if we
there you
want
go.
to make it easy.
A chair for my lady.
Robbie,
No, Rob, please.
Get her a stool.
Use mine. Isn't that nice? Very chivalrous.
Thank you. All right.
Everybody acts phony when you're here.
I'm just being polite.
Now
I've dumped the other chair.
Oh.
God.
You made me nervous.
I do the Mike O'Mara
I think
over
it
here.
looks fine. I think it looks great, Freda. I do too, Freda.
Let's be Beth Ann. We're all set with the chairs. Yes.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's all set up like Mike.
Please let me hang.
What do you got? You got your feet up on the
board?
Got
her feet up there.
Yeah.
Very, very pretty.
Don't touch my wife's feet. 877-365-3636. 10 minutes on the clock. Win a WWE trip to Cleveland if you can make Freda laugh. Ready, baby?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Robbie, put the time on the clock, and you're off.
She's laughing already.
I'm laughing at Mike's feet up here with mine.
Hello, Don and Mike Show. Make Freda laugh.
Hello, Freda.
Yeah.
I learned something that your husband has in common with the late, great Karen Carpenter.
What would that be?
They have the same reaction to eating pumpkin pie.
All right, now, a lot of these calls will suck. And baby, please show that side of your personality, the side that I love so much,
No.
the caustic.
Feel free to judge.
The caustic.
That's a truism, but not a joke. I'm sorry, sir.
Very
Bye.
judgmental you are.
That was somebody who was attempting to be original and failing.
Don and Mike.
Hey, Freda, baby, that's Rose here, girl. Gotcha, foot. What is square, soft, and covered in blood?
What is square, soft, and...
Oh, it was the finger guy. I had to cut him off. It was something after Rob or something.
You know, it was his voice was funny as it was.
Hello, Don and Mike.
Almost pushing me over the edge. Right
Make
there.
Freda laugh. Hello.
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 Freda.
Yeah, hi.
Duh.
Freda.
Now we got to stop your brother from calling the show. Hello.
She's not ticklish.
Don and Mike Show. Make Freda laugh.
Freda.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a gay guy and a mosquito?
What?
You slap the mosquito, he stops sucking.
I don't laugh at gay guy jokes.
Hello, Don and Mike Show.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Good.
Hello.
Hi, Freda. Hey.
How you doing,
Yes?
faggot?
Hey, I got a new toilet brush. I don't really like it, though. I think I'm going to switch back to paper.
To paper.
Oh, you just got that one, huh,
Yeah,
baby?
right.
Hello, Don and
What
Mike.
does that mean? He was taking a brush and...
Yeah.
Hello, make Freda laugh. Hello.
Hello.
Thinking man.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a joke for Freda.
Oh, good. It's a woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that'll help.
Well, you have to think like a guy. To a man, what's the difference between pink and purple?
Pink and purple? Don't know.
Their grip.
Hey, hold on. Winner. Does that count?
Yeah.
He laughed.
Yes. I'm telling you. Winner. I'm telling you. I thought this would be the impossible contest.
Yeah.
Who knew?
As far as my wife goes, and I know,
Right?
23 years, 24 hours a day.
Right.
That's the closest you're going to get to a real laugh. You had a real,
We have a winner.
That
you had a real,
that was
genuine smile and a true laugh.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm grinning from ear to ear. This is wonderful.
good.
I'm not surprised she responded to a woman.
Oh, you've seen me with your wife.
Shut up,
I'm always related to Freda. I'll put it that way. I usually take her side, but not always, but usually.
Well, the only times you don't take my side is when my husband is telling the story inaccurately.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
because that's what I live for. To
You
just
have a very good point, and all the women sitting in their cars are thinking, oh my gosh, this poor woman.
that's what they're thinking. This poor woman. This poor woman.
Hey, Rob, what was she saying?
She was saying, all right.
Well, before we
That's
award
not
you,
making me laugh.
it's making me laugh.
There you go. That's great.
Wow. There it is. Another segment when she came in the wig, and we really are celebrating her participation on this show and what she brought to all of us. It's truly wonderful to reflect back on that. It's better than I thought it would be today. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one last break here, and we will come back, maybe get to a couple of your phone calls, have some final thoughts, and on this very, very sad day for all of us on the show. We'll be right back.
This is the Don and Mike Show.
Don and Mike Show.
They paint the whatnot. Don and Mike.
I love that guy. Dude Walker.
the best.
Sad day here on the Don and Mike Show. I'd like to thank everybody that's associated with the program for for, as Dom would say, sucking it up and coming in and doing a good job for all of us today. I want to take just a few more phone calls and then just have a few final thoughts. And I'd like to tell everybody that as we progress through the week, we are going to do our level best to get back to the stupid kind of stuff that we know you have come to expect from us on this show.
And that you excel in.
We do excel in the stupid stuff, and we're going to make every effort. And Buzz, I appreciate, it doesn't need to be said, but we'll hopefully have your news time tomorrow.
We're all in this together. And no, I think we did exactly the right thing today. And yes, very soon we'll be back to abusing you and amusing you.
This is a favorite Freda moment from Mikkel, I think is the name. Hi, Mikkel, you're on.
Yeah, hey, thanks. I just wanted to reiterate what I guess the folks in the last set said. Mike, I appreciate you sucking it up and coming in because I know how hard it is for you to do a show.
Well, there are people say, I know that's been said, and I do appreciate it, but people are dealing with a lot more difficult stuff than we are here, and this has really helped us more than anything.
Yeah, and one of my, but I've been a listener of you guys forever. I mean, way back to the Waiver days. But one of my favorite Freda moments was when you guys were, I said you guys were experiencing your popularity. You had a whole bunch of disposable income, and Freda wanted to buy some kayaks.
Yes.
Kayaks.
I remember that.
Yeah. Cracks me up every time.
That's a good memory.
The Freda kayaks down there. I do remember that. We're going to get two more here that have been waiting for quite some time. This is John. John, yes, you have something about Freda's hairdryer.
Yes. This is just a passing thought, and I wouldn't have even recalled it until I tuned in earlier today and when you came on the air. But I was at a flea market here in Oldsmar, Florida yesterday, and I saw one of these old 50s style beauty parlor chairs with the big hair dryer.
She had one. She got one.
When a few years ago, when Freda bought one, had it in their house, and it was this big controversy, and he had to call her on the air about it, and it was the funniest thing, and it just dawned on me today. I wouldn't even what a part of my thought process.
Right. Thank you, John. We appreciate that. I don't mean to cut him off. We just have time for a couple more phone calls. Right. Todd, yes, you're on the air.
Hey guys, my condolences. I just can't imagine, the grief that you're all experiencing, especially Dawn. I've been married a year and a half, and if I lost my wife, I'd be paralyzed. I mean, especially I know they just had a big anniversary. Was it 25 years?
20. I think they've been married 23 years. We all kind of look at. We're kind of.
It's not 25 yet.
It's been a long time.
But goodness, I never listened to. This is bad to say, but I never really listen to the best of shows when you do them, except when I'm flipping through and it's Freda and Dawn, and
well, we
they're just
appreciate that.
An inspiration, and I always thought of after I listened to them, gee, I hope that my wife and I have that kind of relationship after that long, and we're that much in love.
Good luck. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate that. Chris, you're the last call that we're going to take today. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call. I've been listening since I was 6 years old. I'm 21 now. Been with you guys for a long time. When I heard the news today, it just brought my day to a standstill. Work at a body shop. Shows real popular. Nobody could move. And we wanted to thank all of you for being the ones to bring us the news.
Well, thank you, Chris.
And my condolences go out, and thank you.
We appreciate that, and thanks for waiting for so long. He waited over, I think, an hour to get on the air with that. It's time for us to wrap it up. As I said before, this has been a devastating day for our radio family, and certainly for the Source family and the Wright family. We send our deepest condolences to Don and his family, and we wish him all the strength in the world to get through this devastating time. A final thought that people like Freda, in my opinion, I think I've gotten this more in my mind as the show has progressed. I think they stay with us, and they will stay with us. We alluded to the fact that she had such a powerful personality. I do believe that she will be with Don and Bart and with their entire family for as long as they live. We discuss theology occasionally on the show. If heaven is what I think it is, they will someday have a terrific reunion. And it'll be in a better place. So, yeah. Damn it. Thought I could do it. Thought I could hang in there. the human spirit is the strongest thing we have, and I really do believe that Freda's human spirit will live in all of our hearts forever, and especially in the hearts of all of her family members and Don and their son. And we know that we do the very best we can when we lose somebody, and our love goes out to that family. And I hope that they can begin the healing process after a very difficult time. And we do send our love out to all of them. We really do. And I'm sorry that I got a little choked up at the end here, but it's late in the day. Did you want to say something else, Beth Ann?
I just wanted to say, love you, Freda. Love you, Bart. Love you, Don.
Okay. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.
This is the Don and Mike Show.